Ladies and gentlemen, they got her. Law enforcement was able to stop a vicious monster. This woman who has been tracked down by so many people. You probably already heard about this. It's one of the biggest stories in the world. Oh, I'm not talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. No, I'm talking about the woman who defended herself in her car at a Chipotle. Yeah, they got her. That's Felony assault. That was the joke, by the way.
What the heck?
That was a good one, dude.
They did actually arrest Ghislaine Maxwell, too. I got him.
You got him. Nice.
You got him. They got her and her husband, too. They got charged with felony assault.
What the heck?
So
That's crazy.
I did a segment on this earlier in the morning, and then I didn't actually see the video, which is stupid of me. I should have definitely seen it because
The full video?
Yeah, because she's clearly, I would say,
being antagonized.
Well, I was going to say in the right, considering the cultural context of everything happening in this country and the fact that she was attacked and she was very calm about it. But they're arresting her. They charged her and her husband with felony assault. You may have seen the video.
She was surprisingly calm, actually. I was.
Yeah.
It's like she
then,
was keeping her cool. Like, look, I don't want this. Like, I'm just trying to get in my car and bounce out of there. And they're like, no, we're gonna make this a thing.
Yeah.
And they did.
Basically.
So there's actually a bunch of videos going around right now where you have Black Lives Matter activists trying to accuse unsuspecting white people of being racist.
Yeah.
So there's one video that I shared where this guy gets out of his car and he walks up to his storefront and there's a sign in the window. It says, no man ever got shot doing the dishes.
Yep.
It's an old joke about pleasing your wife.
Right.
That's what it's about. And these Black Lives Matter activists put posters all over the building. So the guy walks up confused, like there's nobody around, and he starts pulling them off. And they ambush him, and they're like, "Why are you taking down our signs? Are you racist? You're racist?"
He's just like, "No, this is my business. I'm just trying to clean up the front of my building."
No, he's actually just confused, like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
He was like, "What?"
Later on in the video, he explains. Like,
yeah, he was like, "Oh, it's
just bought the building.
It's my store." And
recently.
they're like, "Then why are you taking down our signs?" And he's like, I'm just taking them off." But he has no idea what's happening.
Right.
Huh.
These are the regular Americans who probably, you can see it, the look on his face.
Yeah.
Where like 10 minutes in, where these two guys are screaming that he's racist, the look on his face just as like it goes blank and his eyes are glazed over. And the only thing I could assume, I can read his mind.
Yeah.
I can read his mind. You know what he's thinking? I'm voting for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
see it.
He's like, I have no idea what's going on anymore. But what? No, I'm kidding, by the way. But I'd imagine that after that happened, he went and talked to people, and probably got a bunch of hate on Facebook.
Maybe.
Just a bunch of people being like, "You're so dumb, you're racist," and he's probably like, "What's happening? I didn't do anything. It's just a poster in my door."
Well, I'll tell you what though, it makes me want to call him up and repair some furniture.
Right.
Yeah, he's a furniture repair guy. Yeah. And it's funny
Give him
because
some business.
The funny thing about this video is that the wife and the guy are just standing there confused.
Yeah, they weren't even.
They're just like looking at each other, like not doing anything.
Right.
Like whether being berated. Anyway, there's a lot of videos like this that are popping up, and this Chipotle incident, if you haven't heard, it's basically this. Apparently, like some lady was leaving and bumped into a girl, and then just like they were like, "Excuse you," and then she didn't say anything, so they surround her, start yelling at her.
Yeah.
Now the video's gone viral because the white woman pulled a gun out, and we're gonna break all this down because it actually looked, when you watch the full video, even on Reddit, on the front Reddit, which is like typically far left, the front page on all. The comments are like, "Whoa!" When you actually see the full video, it's the family that caused the problem and attacked the white woman, and the woman was defending herself.
Yeah, it seems like.
So we're going to talk about that. What's the other thing we have? We got
What are we talking about?
We got that Harvard.
Oh, New York fining people for the contact trace, $2,000 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't participate in their contact tracing program, you're subpoenaed for $2,000 a day.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane. That's dictator stuff.
I just
Dictator
be like,
Cuomo.
nah. I just leave. Nah, do whatever you want.
Peace out, New York.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't live there anymore.
So apparently, like some people went to a party, and now they're like, "Nah, we're gonna contact trace you and like track everyone you've ever talked to," and they're like, "Nah." I'm like, "Okay, then we're gonna charge you $2,000 per day."
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, so I don't want to say I was in an argument, because it's not an argument when people are just screeching at you. When I'm trying to give them like an actual conversation about things, it's like, hey, here, where's your source on? They were like complaining that New York's shutting down again because stupid people were going to bars, and I'm like,
wait,
bars? I just kind of like did a sarcastic, really, just the bars, huh? Nice, and they came back with like all this, like these all different tweets and sources, and they posted a bunch of things from Forbes and all this other stuff, and I'm like, wow, okay, well, let me read all your stuff. And I read all it, and they're like, there's no proof that the protests caused more COVID stuff. Here's the proof. And I was like, okay, I read it. And right in the middle of their citing was basically them going, well, now it's like a Snopes article. We don't know actually if it causes anything or not, or if it but we know that they went to the bar, so that's the reason. It's just like, that doesn't prove anything. There's no actual evidence here.
When you have all these articles saying that the anti-lockdown protests were spreading COVID, and now they're like, actually, Black Lives Matter is slowing COVID.
Right.
Everyone goes, well, they're wearing masks, duh. And it's like, yes.
So was the anti-lockdown protest.
Yeah, the mask issue was a recent thing where people are refusing to wear masks. I was like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just, you know what I tweeted? I said, this is religion level gullibility.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of lefties got super triggered by that. they were like, Tim, the facts speak for themselves. Yeah, and I'm like, do they? The facts that change like 3 times a day. Yeah. No sane person has any idea what's happening right now.
Right.
You know what they're doing? It's like they're peppering us with conflicting information across the board, but there's one common through line.
What's that?
Can you guess?
Protesting doesn't cause COVID?
Orange man bad.
Orange man. Yeah. I should have. How did I not guess that, man?
Orange man bad.
Can't believe it.
Well, we'll talk about all this stuff. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you
smash the like button. I was so ready for that.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? You don't have to smash it if you don't want. I don't want anyone's phones break in, computer screens break in. So go borrow someone else's computer.
And then smash it.
Smash their like button. Then you're good. You can keep watching us.
Make them watch the show. Yeah. Spread the good word of TimcastIRL.
That's right. Yeah. Of course.
The Timcast word.
Yes.
But you can also smash the subscribe button, the notification bell, and tell everyone just how great the show is. And if I find out
how terrible the show is.
Either way.
No, listen,
whatever you think it is, you can tell people.
Now that you're all here, okay?
You're already here.
If I find out that any one of you is watching other shows.
Oh, snap. I know what he's talking about.
I'm going to do absolutely nothing.
That's right.
This show is our little secret.
That's right.
And if you tell anybody, I'm kidding. No,
tell everyone.
Tell everybody. So let's
or tell nobody. Whatever,
Punish them with us.
Yeah. But also, if you want to get your super chats in, we read a handful every show. We can't read we obviously can't read every single super chat, but if you want a super chat, it really does help out the show. And let's read this. It's your story
Let's do it.
About, is this woman a Karen? The answer is no. No, they're calling her Karen, and there are a bunch of videos coming out like this where people start filming and then they're like, you're a Karen, and there's people going like,
what?
I'm sorry, what's happening?
She really is not a Karen.
This lady, no,
she was being actually polite. Like, look, I don't want to fight. I'm sorry that you're upset with me right now. I'm just trying to leave. I was like, wow, how does this? And then boom.
So the quick
context.
It
kind of escalated really quickly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the quick context is basically this lady's walking at Chipotle. Apparently she bumps into this 15-year-old girl. The girl then says, excuse you, and the family starts yelling at the white woman. The video starts with the white woman being like, please just let me go to my car. You're blocking me. And they're yelling, apologize. And she's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. You're blocking my car. Then the husband comes over, walks up, they move out of the way. She gets in the car, and then they're all screaming and yelling and filming. Then I guess the mother goes behind the vehicle as the van as they're trying to leave, and then hits it, I think 3 times, bangs on it, like, oh, you're trying to hit me now. But she clearly walked in front of
it's like insurance fraud.
Totally.
Walked behind the vehicle.
They were just trying to leave. Right?
But then she hits it several times, and then the white woman jumps out, and that's where we see this picture. She pulls out her gun, and it looks like so this is another trick that's really interesting.
Proper trigger discipline.
Well, no, check it out. They're saying she aimed the gun right at the woman because in this photo, in this snippet of the video, it looks like the gun is pointed straight at the woman. In reality, she actually had the gun aimed slightly downward. You can argue that it's right or wrong or whatever, but it wasn't pointed directly at the woman in her face.
Yeah.
The woman was holding her phone at, chest height while she was filming. And so with the gun being pointed down, it looks like that's just a perspective issue. That's, her phone.
Actually, it kind of looks like she's yelling at the woman, and she's like kind of looking this way. And her gun's aimed down to the left a little bit, too.
Yeah.
Not at the woman.
Yeah, kind of off to the side a little bit.
So this woman, basically hits the car. You can see it in the full video. She jumps out and says, get back, get the F back. And the woman keeps walking towards her.
Mm-hmm. You're going to pull a gun on me? I'm going to get closer to you.
Yeah, how weird.
And she's just like getting away from her.
She's not afraid.
She's backing up to the other side of the van, screaming, get the F back.
Yeah.
And then she finally lowers the weapon, gets in the car. And then you hear the people filming, crying, saying these white people are racist. They're calling the police.
Showed up, yeah.
But interestingly, one of the first things you hear is from this white woman when they're surrounding her and screaming at her. They're saying, "We're going to beat your A. We're going to beat you up or whatever." And she's telling her husband, "Call the police. Call the police now."
Yeah.
Right.
And they didn't, and they should have.
They should
And so after all this is done, they get arrested. So this is the update right here. Let's check this out. Insider reports a white woman who pointed her gun at a black woman and her 15-year-old daughter outside of Chipotle has been arrested. I guess whether or not she actually pointed at them is semantic. They say video of the confrontation in Orion Township, Michigan was posted to Facebook. The woman's husband has also been charged with felonious assault.
Whoa.
The Oakland County Sheriff's Office said in a press release Thursday afternoon that they investigated the incident and arrested the woman and her husband, and that their names will be released after they're arraigned. Tequila Hill told the Detroit News that the confrontation began when the woman now facing charges bumped into her 15-year-old daughter, Michaela Green. Green and Hill demand an apology and proceed to call the woman ignorant and racist. As the woman walked to her car, a man, presumably the woman's husband, got out of the vehicle and told Hill and Green, "Who the F do you guys think you are? Who do you think you guys are?" And then she said, "You can't just walk around calling white people racist. White people aren't racist. I care about you, and I'm sorry if you had an incident that has made someone make you feel like that. No one is racist." How about that?
Huh.
Is that not an apology for what happened? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you had an incident that made someone.
Made you feel this
I mean,
way?
it's
Yeah.
not an apology for bumping into the person, which is what they were demanding from her. Which
But it's like the problem is they're always
everyone's
demanding more.
It's it's entitlement. Like, I'm owed everything that I want.
I gotta say, man, I wouldn't be surprised if she actually said sorry about that. Something,
Yeah.
and they said no, say
Like,
and then started filming.
Like, actually, like, oh, excuse me.
You know what, man?
It's like,
I'm
no.
I'm
We
giving,
don't want an excuse me. I want an apology.
Yep.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to the woman with the gun because of the video.
Yep.
Because it shows she's very calm, saying please. You know.
Absolutely.
So I'm
It's
willing
true.
to bet that before it all started, she said something like she bumped into the daughter, and then they were like, "Excuse you," and she's like, "Oh, sorry," and then they're like, "No, well, we want a real apology."
Yeah.
That's my bias.
Not a throwaway apology like
That's,
what
but
you just did.
That's my speculation and bias, to be totally fair. But based on what I saw, maybe you can argue that it was too much under normal circumstances
Right.
for her to exit her vehicle with her gun.
And yet, but we're seeing, like you said earlier, we're seeing people getting shot in their cars.
Yeah,
just
these aren't normal
when
circumstances.
they're
Yep.
actually antagonizing her and
Threatening to beat her up.
yeah, she looked
Surrounding her
nervous.
vehicle.
She was trying to simmer the situation down. Like, look, she had her hands up. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
like, look, I'm not trying to, piss anyone off.
They're threatening her.
She's like, she just got in her car. She's like, I'm just getting in my car. She's like, look, I'm sorry that this has happened like this. Close the windows. And it's like, okay.
Now, how about we speculate to the most speculative degree we can speculate?
Yes,
I
let's
love
do it.
speculating like
She
that.
was holding her stomach.
Oh yeah.
This woman-
This is what I was. This is what
yeah.
This is what I thought.
I
yeah.
noticed this too.
Well, what's not?
I'll say it. You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I mean, I don't know, but I have a lot of women that have been pregnant, and in my family, and I've seen the protective nature when a pregnant woman. I'm not saying she is pregnant, but she was holding her belly and kind of like keeping back.
Yeah,
Right.
holding her hand up, and
holding her
belly.
hand on her belly, and
Very
I don't know if she was pregnant or not. But her
conciliatory.
stance and her defensive nature, like trying to calm it all down, I don't know. I don't know if she was. I don't know if she is. And I'm sorry, woman, if you were or weren't rather.
It's such a perfect offensive situation.
I know,
Oh,
but
so you're pregnant? I'm not pregnant. Ah, so you're fat.
Oh, it's not like she looks like she's
well,
pregnant.
she just walked out of Chipotle, so she could have
She's
have
holding
a
her belly.
burrito
Right.
baby.
She's had
Burrito baby.
She
No.
ordered
She had a
an
full
overstuffed double meat,
Yeah.
extra avocado.
Yeah.
And she's holding her stomach like I am
Oh,
so
man.
full. And now these people are yelling at me.
No, but
Maybe-
I know that hold though. You're holding your belly. Someone
Yeah.
if you protect important stuff. It's like I've seen
Right.
that. I get that. You
it
know.
could just be her trying to protect her stomach in case they're going to try and hit her or something.
So I don't know. She was
I'll-
clearly
wait,
being
hold on.
feeling attacked.
Maybe.
And, I mean, you even said it that they were going to beat her up. They said
They
it.
said it.
Yeah,
said
they
it.
said it. Yeah.
Maybe she had to take a big dump.
That's assault.
Maybe she had to go number 2.
Yep.
And she's sitting there and they're surrounding her and she's thinking to herself like, oh man,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
got a
go
good
home.
5 minutes to make it to that golden throne.
Yeah. Man.
And these people are blocking my way.
So you're going with the burrito baby side of it. Okay.
No, I'm going
burrito
with
baby.
I'm going with South Park's Chipotle way, Joe. Remember that one?
Chipotle way.
Where Cartman
No, I don't know that one.
Cartman complains that he loves Chipotle, but he can't figure out how to get the bloodstains out of his underwear.
Gross.
I don't know what that joke was supposed to mean.
That's disgusting.
All right, well,
Chipotle's
now that
good,
we're
though. I like Chipotle.
anyway, no, but in all seriousness, I think you're not the only one who thought that.
Oh, okay.
Like people have
So it's going
mentioned.
around.
Yeah.
She could just be guarding her stomach,
Yeah, who knows?
and I'm not
Her
gonna.
stance did. It seemed like it. I don't know anything. You
Yeah.
know, I'm just going on what the full context of the video itself.
I think it was a defensive position. I don't think it's anything related to pregnancy or anything. I think it's just
Right on.
like protect your soft underbelly from
Sure,
predators.
maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like curl up into a little ball and then roll away. That's what she's doing. Well,
Just like that.
check this out. Here's what they say. They say Hill stepped back as the couple got into their car and rolled their windows up. But as the driver backed out of the vehicle, she hit the back of it, believing she was going to be struck. This is the craziest thing to me, how the media is framing this.
Yeah, that's insane. She walked back there, and you hear her
And then
say,
started
"Oh,
hitting-
they tried to hit me." It's
Yeah.
like they were pulling away from the situation. You bolted to get
You were trying
behind
to
the
stop
van.
her from leaving.
Yeah, you were trying to stop them. Like, what did you want to have
So-
happen? What was your goal? You
Yeah,
know,
I know
what,
what her
what was
goal
your
was.
goal?
Yeah.
You wanted something like this to go down.
Now, here's what's scary. Because of what's going on around the country, I would argue, I would not argue what she did was inappropriate.
Okay.
In my earlier segment, I hadn't seen the full context of what happened, but I did mention that, hey man, look, if you hit someone's vehicle, if you go behind their car, whatever, you start hitting on it, and they jump out with a gun, maybe you should pay attention to the news.
Yeah.
Because if they have seen the mass shooting in Louisville, if they
Yep.
saw the 300 rounds fired at that SUV in the Chaz,
Yep.
or the guy in Provo
Yep.
who ran up and shot somebody for no reason,
Just for driving.
you got to so the question is, without seeing the full context, even in the way they frame it,
Yeah.
is it going to be considered unreasonable when even the woman
Not at all.
admits she hit the vehicle? She struck the vehicle thinking she'd be hit. Well then, okay, so at the very worst case, we can say bad hair day, huh? Bad hair day. You thought you were going to get hit. You didn't realize. She didn't know you were there, and then she panicked. And
She
because
clearly ran behind the car.
totally, you can see it.
Yeah.
I know. In the full video, it's very clear. She runs back there to try to stop him, to try
Yep.
to be like, "Oh, you hit me."
This makes me.
She yells it. They tried to hit me.
Dude,
It's
this-
like, what? No,
And then
they
the woman
didn't.
with the gun yells, "Don't jump behind my car."
Right.
This makes me so mad because this article is saying believing she would be hit.
Right.
She did X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, no.
They're mind
Don't,
readers.
don't assume what she was thinking.
Well, that's what mainstream media does.
All right,
I
well, how
know.
about we check out what the Washington Post said?
Oh, let's see.
You
Yeah.
guys are going to love
Oh,
this
wow.
one.
It's gonna
WAPO.
be
Yeah,
great,
I
yeah.
love checking them.
I'm super ready.
Great.
Let's go.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
It's going to make your blood boil.
Yes.
She's got the gun on me. Video shows white woman pulling pistol on black mother, daughter in Michigan.
Oh, way to spin that.
You ready for this?
Ooh, yeah.
No, I'm not.
First, the white woman bumped into Tequila Hill's teenage daughter. Then her husband seemed to try to hit the black Michigan mother with their minivan.
Whoa, sinister.
And just moments later,
Oh my
Hill
gosh.
found herself in a suburban Detroit parking lot staring into the muzzle of a pistol.
Oh, this poor
as the woman
woman.
aimed her weapon at Hill and yelled for her to move back.
Oh, man.
You effing jumped behind my car, the woman said, later shouting, "Back the F up." The startling confrontation, which was partly caught on camera Wednesday afternoon, quickly went viral overnight. As of Thursday afternoon, video of the confrontation had been viewed about 12 million times on Twitter. I am deeply disturbed by an incident last night where a woman pointed a cocked gun at another woman during an argument. The behavior is unacceptable, Oakland County Executive David Coulter said in a statement Thursday. Now, yeah, the woman, she cocks it. She
Yep.
gets out and
I
she goes,
heard it,
"Shh."
yeah.
It's like, woo.
She's ready, man.
But look how the media plays it.
That's
Jeez,
insane.
dude.
They have framed it in the worst
The paper of
possible
record.
way. Now, here's what's crazy. You go to reddit.com/r/all.
Okay.
Reddit just banned the Donald and 2,000 subreddits, right-wing LGBT. It is not a right-wing place.
No.
Right.
And I'm sitting back, we're like, we're just finishing dinner, and I'm looking at my phone, and I'm scrolling, and I open it up, and like one of the top posts on the front page
Yep.
is, here's the full video of what happened in Michigan. And I went, what's this? Like the full video. People have been uploading short clips where the only thing you see is the white woman pointing the gun, screaming, "Get back."
Right.
So somebody uploaded the full version, and it made it to the top of Reddit. And in the comments, everyone's going like, "Whoa,
This is
the
not
family
this
crossed
is not
the line."
same. Definitely
Yep.
they did.
And then the crazy thing is, so I'm like, I read through these comments, and they're all saying things like, the woman was clearly scared and threatened. They said they were going to beat her up. They,
Yep.
they hit her car.
That's a
She had
threat,
a
yep.
reasonable fear of harm.
Boom.
Maybe it doesn't justify pulling out a gun, but if someone threatens to cause you physical harm
Yep.
and then surrounds your vehicle, maybe you get out and tell them to back up so you can get out of there.
And that's exactly what she did.
Right.
Get
Especially
back up right now. Back up, and they did. She got back.
well,
she,
after a minute, the
sure,
woman was
sure.
walking towards her.
Right, but into when she finally started backing up, she was like, "Okay," got back in the car, and they took off.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
So here's
that's
so-
exactly
so-
what she probably wanted to have happen.
So I'm scrolling Reddit a little bit more. I'm scrolling, and then I come across a graphic. I can't remember which subreddit it was from, but it was a screenshot of a bunch of different Reddit posts
Okay.
that were all taking things out of context, and they were like, "Do better." And the comments once again were
Wow.
like, "I keep seeing the snipped version, the short version."
Yep.
And when you watch the full thing, you're like, "Man, this lady was trying her hardest to keep everything calm and get out of there."
She was.
And so why did she draw the weapon? She's one woman surrounded by 3 or 4 other people screaming at her, refusing to let her leave and threatening her.
Yep.
So they're trying to get the car out. The woman goes behind the car and starts hitting it. They can't get out. So she gets out with her gun and says, "Get away from us."
Yeah.
So the other thing that I don't think we've talked about is that her 2 daughters were in the car too. So I think she had her 2 daughters with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Seriously, the woman who pulled the
woman
gun?
who pulled the gun. Half the reason that she was probably this defensive is because she had her family in the car. Yeah,
Not surprising
weird,
at all.
right?
Trying to
Yeah,
keep it
crazy.
calm, trying to simmer the situation down and leave.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let that happen.
She's saying they were all traumatized.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
Wow, man.
insane.
Infuriating.
You know what scares me about this?
What?
They're straight up telling you can't protect your business. You can't
Right.
defend yourself. Have you guys seen, I tweeted this out. Shout out to Seamus of Freedom Tunes. This is a
My
great,
goodness, it's
great
amazing.
video. And I don't know if you
amazing.
guys have seen Freedom Tunes, but you really should check out Freedom Tunes on YouTube.
It's really good.
So one of his latest cartoons, it's making fun of the St. Louis couple who are holding their guns wrong. He's holding it backwards. But a bunch of Antifa and far leftists march onto his property, and then he yells, "Get off my property." They see him holding the gun, and they start crying.
Yep.
And then they're all crying, and then it shows like people on the news crying, and then MSNBC hosts are crying, and then he goes, okay, I'll get rid of the gun. He puts it down, and then he goes, no, and then all of a sudden Antifa goes, "Get him!" And they run up and
Mob
start
him,
beating him up.
Yep.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
You've got like we mentioned before we started the segment. There's a video going around where this guy gets out of his car and he walks up to his business. It's he just bought it, and there's Black Lives Matter signs all over it, and so he just starts taking him down. Then he gets ambushed by 2 dudes screaming at him like, "Why are you tearing down our signs? Are you racist?" And the guy's confused like, "No, it's my building. I'm taking the signs down." And they're screaming at him. This guy clearly has no idea what's going on.
Yep.
There was a sign in the window that said, "No man has ever been shot doing the dishes."
Right.
Old school joke reference to making your wife happy. Like, she won't shoot you. You're doing the dishes. You know what I mean? They thought it was a reference to following the law or something. They went nuts. And there's this man, this white dude and this white woman are just standing there confused, like hands down at their
Bewildered,
side,
yeah.
not saying anything, looking at each other like, what's happening right now?
Right.
And the guy's saying like, "You're racist, you're Karen." You see videos like this, and then you see that video of the woman who got followed by the dude,
Yeah.
and then she's shrieking and like shaking, screaming,
don't hurt me.
"You're gonna call me a Karen?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
And a lot of people said she overreacted, and I'm like, maybe, or maybe she knows what happens to people when they get called Karen.
And he followed her home. What the
Yeah,
heck?
he followed her
What
home to her
the
house.
actual heck?
I think that is the reason why she was more
That's
afraid.
horrifying.
Yeah,
Like the
He-
person
because he
follow-
backed up behind her too, so she couldn't get out if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Like that's frightening.
I don't like that.
That's frightening.
That's why people are buying guns.
Yep.
What is it? What's a 8.3 million?
So far,
Lot of
since
guns.
March.
Jeez.
Well, it
dude.
won't matter. It won't matter because if you're on your own property and a large group of people break onto your private property and you pull out your gun, they're now the I guess the local prosecutor or whatever is trying. I don't know exactly which position it is. They're searching for a crime. They've said they're thinking maybe 4th degree assault or intimidation or something like that.
What?
Yep. They're trying to find a crime.
They don't
to charge
have
them.
anything. Yeah. So they have nothing. So it's Russiagate again.
Well,
How can we twist this?
They can just make it up. They
know.
can be like, "We're going to go for this,"
Yeah.
and try it in court. Well, now you have this woman. Think about this. People can surround you, threaten you with physical harm, and
Yep.
scream in your face,
Hit your car.
hit your car,
With your
surround
kids
it,
in it.
and you can't defend yourself.
It's messed up.
We're heading like this is what this apparently is what it's like in the UK. That we were talking about the other day. Someone will break into your house, and then you try to defend yourself, and now you're the criminal. Just let them break in, I guess, unless you're lucky enough to get the cops there before anything bad happens. But yeah, man, what happens now? What they'll say is, and they've said it a lot. "Oh, but you didn't have to kill them, right?" And it's like, yeah, bro. I mean, very few people actually want to kill people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Really psychos, yeah.
But a lot of these stories you hear about self-defense issues where someone dies, they're like, "Why didn't you try and do something else?" And it's like, adrenaline's pumping.
She literally tried to leave.
Yep.
She was trying to leave.
And they wouldn't let her.
Yep.
She was trying to say, "Please, let me just go." Like, I'm sorry
what?
that
You
you're
know what?
upset. I'm
Now-
trying to leave.
Now that I think about
She
it,
tried to leave.
now that I think about it, the way we've kind of gone through everything, she did the right thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that she had kids in the car.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
dude.
It's like, so
She-
you're being attacked. She didn't know what that pound was.
Right.
What if she thought it was a gun
Or a brick.
or,
yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
If you're gonna start attacking my car that I have my family in here,
Yep.
get out of the
Seriously.
way.
Yeah.
It's
my
like,
first
you know
She's
what?
trying to leave.
I don't blame her at all.
The video starts with her surrounded, and she's saying, "Please, you're blocking me from my car."
Yes,
They
surrounded.
won't let her leave. They're saying, "We're going to beat you up."
Yeah, assaulting her.
Then finally, her husband gets her in, and then when they try and leave, the woman goes around and hits the car, so she can't.
Yep.
What choice does she have?
Right.
Just sit there and pray and wait that things de-escalate?
Right.
Or get out and defend yourself?
Good for
Not only
her,
that,
man.
but she had her finger properly on the gun.
Yep.
It seems like she knew what she was doing. And it was
seems
aimed
like it, yep.
downward
She
and
wasn't
slightly
even shaking.
away from the people.
Yep. From what we've
Yelling,
seen.
"Get
Yep.
back." And she started backing up
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
create more space. And now
Obviously
they've charged
defensive.
her with felony assault and her husband.
It's insane.
Morality policing, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The police know that if they charge the family or don't arrest her, they'll have a riot.
There will
so
be
they will
riots.
violate your rights if it means preventing civil
Jeez,
unrest.
dude.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, me neither, man. I like civil rights. I like we've all seen the video. When you've got a clear consensus like this where even the lefties on Reddit are
Yep.
saying straight up like, "Nah, man, that's not cool."
It's not.
Why is she being arrested? Now, maybe the cops are like, "Look, you'll be fine. Charge will get dropped, whatever."
Hopefully.
Prosecutor will say new evidence has come to light or something like that. Maybe. Or maybe they'll look for a political prosecution and they'll say, if you don't plead, there's going to be riots. So, plead.
You better, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean-
we'll see what they do and who actually riots because of this BS.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude. They give them a reason they'll riot. They've been rioting nonstop.
No. I'm not talking about the people who are already rioting.
People who are not rioting.
You mean what? You mean like the regular people who are getting sick and tired of everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to riot now that she got arrested?
I think they're going to let her go. I think they're going to look at this video and be like, "Ooh."
I disagree.
You don't think so? You think they're
in
going to it's
Chicago
gonna stick?
Chicago just released 817 Black Lives Matter demonstrators who had been arrested. 817. I'm sorry, they're not released. They had all of their charges dropped.
Were they protesters or were they rioters?
Protesters.
Okay.
So it was low-level, non-violent protest-related offenses.
Okay.
800. So you're going to get a $2,000 fine because you went to a party in New York, and they're going to let all these people violating CDC guidelines and city lockdown orders.
I don't like anything De Blasio's doing. I think
No, it's
I think-
Chicago.
I know, but you referenced the thing in New
No,
York.
that's Cuomo. That's New York State.
Oh,
Yeah.
the whole state
It's
is
Rock
going to be
County.
like that.
No,
Yes.
yeah.
I
it's
thought it
Rock
was just
County.
the city.
Oh, it's the city too. But
Well,
yeah,
the city they're locking down again. So I mean, I also don't like what De Blasio's doing, but sure, we'll talk about Cuomo too.
you
I
know-
don't like anything he's doing either.
Do you know who dropped the charges on these 817 people?
Who?
Kim Fox. Do you know who Kim Fox is?
No, who's that?
She's the prosecutor who dropped the charges on Jussie Smollett.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Interesting how the people who align with her ideology have all their charges
That's so
just
weird.
disappeared,
How
all gone. And she
convenient.
said, "Well, it's because our budget just can't handle it. Can't handle what? It's low-level offenses. You give them a fine. Say $50, go home.
Yeah.
No. They're letting them go. No issues, dude. When you engage in civil disobedience, there is a small price to be paid.
Yeah.
I know. I worked for tons of nonprofits, and they say, there's a line where it's kind of gray, where you are breaking the law, but everyone kind of rolls their eyes and says, "We get it,"
Right.
and then you get a slap on the wrist charge, and you go home. To just drop them outright. Now, I'm not super worried about them dropping the charges for the most part, but you look at what's going on with New York and Fort Worth, and they dropped the charges as well. In the instance of Fort Worth, it was rioting charges.
Yep.
So welcome to morality policing. They arrested this woman on a normal day. She wouldn't have been arrested. I really don't believe so. There would have been no arrest. They would have said, "Ma'am, you can't surround a vehicle, bang on it, and threaten you're going to beat somebody up." She defended herself. Nobody got hurt. She went home. Go home. I've actually been physically attacked when I was in New York,
Okay.
and the cops were like, "You're okay right now, right?" And I was like, "Sure," but the guy attacked me. Go home. And I'm like, "This dude actually hit me," and they were like, "Everybody's okay, right?" And I was like, "I guess, but shouldn't he get? Isn't it a crime? Go home." They don't want to do it. They won't do it. You got to think about, like, did the cops really want to go through the motions of arresting somebody over something like this? They didn't want to, but they got a viral video situation on their hands, and
Yeah,
they're like,
they got to do
"Eh,
something.
Look, I don't want to deal with a riot, so you're under arrest."
Innocent till proven guilty. Isn't that
Yeah,
how,
right.
Isn't that how it goes?
that is supposed to be how it
That's
goes.
how it's supposed to be, right?
Did you hear about?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about that dude Dan Dix in Vancouver? I think it was Vancouver.
Sounds familiar. What?
He's like an indie journalist guy on YouTube.
Okay.
And he went to some rally where Antifa saw him. They started calling him a Nazi or whatever.
Okay.
And then they were basically getting up in his face and blocking his camera. The cops tell him to leave, and he's like, He's like, "These people are harassing me," and they're like, "We don't care." And then he's like, "I'm not leaving because these people are harassing me." So then the cops arrested him.
Wow, really?
He was the victim. He got arrested.
Wow.
Yep.
That's where we're going, man.
That's great.
Because, like I said, the police are like, dude, you can't expect me to stop 30 people right now on my own. I can stop them by arresting you. I'll violate your rights, and then I'm good. Easy, right?
It's the loophole.
Isn't that what they
It's
did
easy
with
way out.
TikTok? Is that the
Right,
thing?
exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh,
Well,
you're being
that's-
bullied? You don't like all these other people bullying you? Get banned.
Get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
it's
out of
it's
here.
easier to ban the victim than it is to
Yep.
ban the bullies.
Yep.
Well, we keep the bullies, we make money. You know, you ban the victim.
It's just one person.
Yeah, it's just one person. Huh?
Yeah.
This is where we're going. This is where everything's headed.
I don't like it.
And it really is predictable. But the next step is going to be. I mean, look, I say the next step, but in that story with Dan, he didn't commit any crimes.
Yeah.
It's one thing if, like, okay, this lady did pull out a weapon.
Yeah.
There is an argument about whether or not you're allowed to do that.
Right.
And the cops have erred on the side of, I'm going to just give it to the protesters, right?
We'll see.
wait.
I mean, she was clearly being baited the whole time.
Her husband got arrested, dude.
Yeah. What did he do?
I don't know.
He talked to them.
Yeah, he was
From
in
what I
the
could
driver's seat. So they're clearly going after them for protest ideological reasons.
Yeah, it's true.
Now you've got prosecutors who are favoring an ideology. You can't go to church, but you can protest.
Jeez.
Now you've got what is it? There's like a viral image going around from LA. Apparently someone asked the mayor. They were like, "You've got all of these protesters out in the street, you know, and protesting, and you're telling us we can't go out for fireworks or whatever. Like, how can you reconcile that double standard?"
Yeah.
Can't.
Can't.
Of course not. Well, I don't know what he said.
Oh, okay.
But the reality is, no, you can't. You can't. It's very obvious what's
Right.
happening.
Yeah. There's no answer to that.
Right now,
It's
in the United
hypocrisy
States,
at its finest.
yes, but I would say it's worse than that.
Okay.
It's malicious.
You're
It
right.
is nefarious.
You're right.
Kim Fox, we know who she is.
Oh, yeah.
We know what she tried doing for Justice Smollett. This dude staged a major hoax
Yep.
that hit the entire country.
Yep.
And people were going crazy over it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets charged with these crimes, she's like, "You're good. Just go home. I'll drop it."
Yeah, that's not incompetent. That's malicious.
Now, 817 demonstrators who were violating CDC lockdown orders,
Mm-hmm.
state lockdown orders, charges all dropped. Don't worry about it. So there it is.
They're all just chess pieces. It's all just pieces on a board for somebody.
They're telling you right now that if you want your freedom, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to be able to, arguably your freedom, if you want to be able to go outside, if you want to be able to go to the park and hang out with your friends, you must bend the knee to our ideology, to our new religion.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And if you say no, they'll arrest you if the mob comes for you. This is what worries me. In the Vancouver story, again, not the United States, they surround him, they attack him, Dan gets arrested. In this story, you have a fight breaks out, she's threatened, they surround her vehicle, she draws her weapon, she gets arrested. Rayshard Brooks, Atlanta. The cop is trying to arrest a guy who was caught driving drunk, passed out in his vehicle,
Yep.
car running,
Starts fighting him.
steals a taser,
Steals the taser. Shoots
points it at him, and then within a split second, the dude draws his weapon, shoots him 3 times, immediately renders aid. Now he's facing, potentially, the death penalty, felony murder.
Yeah, it's insane.
So what comes next? The mob will show up to your house. They'll start protesting. The police will say, "What happened?" And they'll accuse you of some fake, ridiculous crime, and the cops will arrest you.
Yep.
Think about what goes on with this Title IX stuff. Have you heard a lot of the stories about the college Title IX stuff? Like
Not a little bit.
False accusations and
Yeah,
assault
yeah.
accusations. What would happen if you woke up? You could wake up one day and the cops are knocking on your door and they're like, "We have an arrest warrant for an Adam Krigler. Is that you?" And you're like, "Yeah, what for?" And they're like, "Rape." And you're like, "Who?" And they're like, "You've been accused. Turn around. We're not going to tell you the name. We're not going to tell you anything. You're under arrest."
It's messed up.
Then you just find yourself in jail. Then all of a sudden the media's running your name like crazy, all because it takes one. And what happens is these false accusations, there's no penalty for the women who make the false claims.
Yep.
Typically, they just get away with
I
it.
know someone personally that.
We talked about it.
Yep, that went to jail for 2 years, and then she felt guilty and finally admitted it to someone else, and my friend got out, and because she lied, she was
Yep.
just upset that he broke up with her.
Amazing.
The justice system is
just-
crumbling.
Just claimed it, and nothing happened to her. She didn't get in trouble. He lost 2 years of his life because he broke up with her,
And now he has a record.
and she
Oh,
just
man.
screeched
Well,
about
I
it.
imagine it would get expunged.
I would
Think
hope
of-
so.
Yeah.
It did.
Okay, good.
Think about
But
where.
it doesn't matter. That's 2 years of his life is gone.
Never get that back.
So think about
And
how
she
easy
didn't
it
get
is.
in trouble at all.
Think about how easy it is right now that some woman will accuse you. The mob shows up to your house. They easily find it.
Yeah.
Then the cops show up and they're like, "What's going on?" And they demand, "You must arrest him because he's a criminal." The cops are going to be like,
okay.
"It's easier just to arrest the dude than deal with this." And so they'll walk in, they'll arrest you, and you'll walk out confused, not knowing what's going on. And then they'll be laughing the whole time.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Marvel.
Have you ever seen the Evergreen videos from the Brett Weinstein situation?
Not really.
What did he call that? Oh, I forgot. He has a name for
It
it.
was a little while ago. I don't remember.
So
either.
Evergreen College, but you know what it was about? Like,
Not really.
So I'm going to give you the simplified version because I'm not going to be able to recall everything perfectly. But Brett was a professor. His wife was a professor. And he had there's this holiday where it's called like a day without black people or something, where all the minorities leave to show you how important they are and how, they're taken for granted.
Okay.
So this year they said we're going to do the opposite. All the white people have to leave. And Brett's response was like, well, you can't force people to do something. If you choose to leave to make a point, that's acceptable.
Right.
So they started calling him a racist and all these other things. And then this big scandal breaks out. I don't know exactly, I did a documentary on it a couple years ago, so it's over on the SCNR channel. But basically, you have these viral clips. In one of them, the school president or administrator or whatever is talking with his hands, and then someone starts complaining that talking with your hands is racist. So then they're like, put your hands down, and he puts his hands down, and then they all start laughing at him. It was fake. They're just a bunch. It's a river full of piranhas, man.
It's the new age trolling. It's starting to hit reality.
I think it's almost like
Spilling out of the interwebs.
I mean, it really is a cult, but as it becomes more and more mainstream, I just call it a religion.
Yeah.
It's literally called intersectionalism, right? Mm-hmm. It's this ideology of, only white people are racist. That's clearly a fundamentalist, fanatic view of the world.
Right.
Like, these people are so, man.
Someone told me today that minorities can't be racist.
What?
They're like, that's not a thing. They can't be racist.
They really.
So basically, I can't be racist.
I guess so.
You might be able to be a little bit racist.
According to Reddit, they changed this apparently, but they briefly said that you can mock majority groups.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if we do the show from Japan, we're allowed to say whatever we want about Japanese people.
Yeah.
Like the worst imaginable things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the worst. Because
I don't like that.
Only majority.
I don't want to talk bad about anyone. It's not the type of person I am. I don't like when people complain. I want to move forward. I want to whenever someone's complaining, I'm like, well, what are you going to do about it? And they don't have an answer. I'm like, I'm done with this conversation then.
Yeah.
Unless you have an idea or you want to move forward, talk to this person who's pissing you off, like whatever it is. I'm sick of it.
We are I was gonna say we're dangerously close, but no, we're in it, man. We're living.
We are in it. You're right.
A large portion of our government is run by a religious sect.
Yep.
And they have sin and confession.
Yep.
And banishment.
Acolytes and
acolytes, preachers.
Yep. Flagellation.
Man, I remember I was talking to a friend like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. 3 years ago. This was before, if you're not familiar, Peter Boghossian, James Lindsay, and Helen Pluckrose, they're the Sokol Squared individuals. This is big hoax that they did on this feminist publication. But they had been talking about intersectionality is a religion. It's a non-theistic religion. And so you can check out their work. But I've been talking to talking about this to a friend of mine, and I mentioned that I thought it was a cult. And this is 3 years ago, mind you, so it wasn't as nearly as prominent as it's become today.
Okay.
And they asked me like, no, it's not. Are there like is someone, is there a leader? And I'm like, there are leaders of like different groups. And I would say there are leaders. You don't necessarily need to have a like specific leader. Although, we had a big argument about what a cult is. And, some people argue you do. But I'm like, the point is, it's a fanatic ideology that follows very similarly to how cults work. Love bombing, shame, exile, preachers who can, it's almost religious.
Yep.
There's that joke. What's the difference between a cult and a religion? And it's, the size. How many people adhere to it?
It's a cult until you hit a certain amount of people.
Then it's really
and then you get the tax exempts and
technically
you
it's
become
not
a religion.
true though.
Yeah,
no, I know.
Yeah, there's actually
the joke about it, though.
Very specific things that religions don't do that cults do. I ended up actually reading about this. Mm-hmm. And so it's a religion. It's a straight up religion.
Yeah, like this Marxism thing, like a lot of the Black Lives Matter leaders are coming out as Marxists, and it's like, Karl Marx was a incredible racist. and I tweeted that earlier today, and someone actually said to me, that's how it was back then. You can't shame someone for the way things that were normal in the past, and that's exactly what they're doing for the entire history of what we've got going on right now. It's like, where is your mind?
Yeah.
They-
How do you reconcile?
They
that?
don't want to hear these kind of things. They just want to screech and be in the cult.
It's really
They're
just-
accepted in their cult.
Yeah.
They found a community that takes little effort.
Yep, exactly. Little effort to do
And you
any-
show up and they have little potluck. You know?
and we're living in a world that requires little effort.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Comparatively,
Yeah.
to the past. If you really want to survive, you can't do it by having little effort. You got to be really lucky. You got to be really lucky to have a life that requires little effort. But if you want to do something, you got to get out and work for it.
Everything's relative.
But not if you're in that cult, because that's easy.
Everything's relative, man.
You're right, absolutely.
So, I have a friend who a long time ago was talking to me about there's like, the way he described it was there's two classes of people.
Okay.
They tell you that there's the lower class, the middle class, upper class, whatever. He's like, no, there's two. There's people who have broken the barrier to where they will never want for anything, and they go through an existential crisis, and these are the ultra wealthy. And then there's everyone else who lives in a relative state of comfort and is constantly striving to survive. The way the analogy is that if you stand still, you're on a treadmill, and if you stand still, you're moving backwards. If you walk,
Interesting.
you're staying where you are. You have to run to try and move forward.
Yep.
Okay,
So-
I see that, yeah.
So you basically have two classes of people. Most people, the 99.99%, are all on the treadmill and they're all running. And this includes people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars and make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year.
Okay.
Because they don't have independent wealth. And then you go down, and even the poorest people, everybody's on the treadmill running to try and get forward. Some people are just laying down and they roll backwards.
Yep.
And then they get mad they're far behind. They're like, but I should be allowed to sit. That's a different argument. But there are people who've finally made it to the end of the treadmill, and then they go through an existential crisis. This is what my buddy told me, because he ended up making, millions of dollars off some product he invented when he was real young.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it's like, nothing matters. What do you do?
Yeah, he
You've got
has
all this
everything
money.
he wants.
And he accomplished his goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what these people today don't realize, there will always be poverty. It's quite literally impossible to get rid of poverty. It's just the definition of what poverty is. Could you imagine, somebody who makes $10,000 a year today in America is considered poor. Could you imagine that living standard 100, 200 years ago?
No.
It's like the ultra wealthy. Could you imagine, like, go back 200 years and people are walking around like they're riding horses, and the horses are like pooping everywhere, and there's poop everywhere, and you have a car with air conditioning,
I know, yeah. It's
and
true.
you're and they're like, what is this magical vehicle of you must be a king where you come from with this, it's like, oh, actually no, I'm really poor. I'm like, it's really bad.
It's a bad car. Yeah.
And all their teeth have fallen out. They're all dead by 30. Their
Yep.
babies are dying, and you're
Gangrene,
like,
yeah.
gangrene. They've-
Yeah, there's no
it's like,
anesthetic.
what you go back in time and you're poor, and you hang out with the dude, and he stubs his toe and goes, "Whoop, stubbed my toe. Is it bleeding? Whoop,
gonna
guess I'll die."
Yep.
That's it.
Or I
Sepsis.
guess I should cut this toe off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the
It's a goner.
baseline's different. Like
Yeah.
our
Exactly.
base level of the standard of living that we are used to is privileged.
Yep.
Everyone is. I don't care who you are. I mean, in America is really what I'm talking about, because this is obviously the subject at hand. It's like we have air conditioning, we have sewers.
Indoor plumbing.
Yeah, sewers
You know
are
what
huge.
the greatest force in ending poverty has been? Capitalism.
100%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Capitalism. That's it. Communism has only ever made more poverty.
Yeah.
Fewer
Like-
people though, because
And
they all
killed.
die.
Yeah, fewer
I was just gonna
people.
say it kills a lot of
Exactly. It
people.
does kill a lot of people.
Like Marx is responsible for over 200 million people dying
Yeah,
from
we
his
can't even keep
ideologies.
track. We can't
Depending
even
on-
keep track.
It's arguably higher.
Yeah,
right.
no way.
At least 200 million people have died because of his ideologies.
It's weird
It's
that
crazy.
you're like we mentioned Jordan Peterson in the past, how he says we know when the right goes too far.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird that we live in a country that can't tell when the left has gone too far, and it clearly
It
has.
seems like it
Absolutely.
might have. Yeah.
Might have.
Maybe.
man.
Perhaps.
But on a lighter note, Jordan Peterson has resurfaced.
he has.
Yes,
Yay.
He's back.
He seems to be doing
I'm
well.
glad you're back, Jordan.
Yeah.
If you watch our show.
Of course he does.
I don't know if you,
Of course he does.
Yeah,
he
of
watches
course
our
he
show.
does.
Oh, okay.
Sure, why
Yeah,
not?
man.
Someone was like, "You should get Jordan on the show," and I'm like,
That'd be
"Yes."
Oh gosh, yeah, but
Mr. Dr. Peterson, we would lovingly accept you on our show to enlighten us
Dr.
and
Lobster,
our
please.
viewers.
Yes.
Well, you know what I found is interesting is when I hit you up
Mm-hmm.
to do the show, before you were immersed in all this political stuff.
Yeah.
You had been, I guess you were reading and listening to Dr. Peterson.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
already knew who
introduced
he
to him
was.
last year through one of Nisha's friends, and the Maps a Meaning, basically. And
Yeah.
it's if you don't know it, it's very enlightening. Check it out. It's the Maps of Meaning on YouTube, and it's basically one of his theories or one of his classes, and you could just go watch it. It's quite long actually, but absolutely worth it. You know, talks about what it means to be human, what we need, our purpose, and what we're lacking nowadays, and he breaks it all down and gives examples, and it's really an incredible watch. So
I'm gonna
definitely suggest it.
We got a super chat real quick. I'm gonna throw it to
yeah.
you.
Oh.
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
They said Trump watched Tim's rant. Trump started crackdown after last Monday. I'm a conservative and I'm excited to bring home our troops.
I told you he watched it.
Told you?
he
I
didn't-
said it.
Really?
I don't care. That's proof.
But the
It happened.
proof.
He watched it.
That's all the proof we need.
But hold on. The reason this is funny is because Trump is now trying to bring our soldiers back from Afghanistan.
Yes.
And who's blocking it? The Democrats.
Well, but it's not even
Right.
about that. The media.
Yeah.
Right. They all are. They're
Dude.
trying to stop it. Why? What?
I
don't
had
get it.
I had. I'm talking to a friend of mine, Lefty,
Yeah.
and I said, "What do you think about Donald Trump trying to bring our troops back from Afghanistan?" You know what the response was?
Huh.
Trump's doing that?
Yeah.
Is that what their response was?
No. What do you think the response was?
That's what I think their response was.
response was-
Trump's doing that?
Well, I mean, I have to look at the situation. I mean, there's probably a good reason why our troops are there.
Oh
What?
my gosh.
Oh,
Not kidding.
of course.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
no. I think it should have been the scandal of the freaking whatever 50 years is called, the fact that we're still in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, man.
We knew that we didn't need to be there and we stayed.
Yep.
So,
No
so all of a
reason.
sudden, you've got. I think Rand Paul proposed it. I think I'm not entirely sure. I don't have it pulled up. I think have you seen this?
Let me see.
I think it
Yeah,
is.
didn't you
I think
pull it
you're
up?
right. I think it is Rand Paul. He's talking about people. We've got people serving there that were born after the war started
Yes.
Yep.
that are there now.
Yes, that sounds like Grand
They
But
weren't
apparently,
even alive.
Apparently, both parties shot him down.
Yep.
They were like, "Nah, we're not gonna bring our troops out of Afghanistan. Are you nuts?"
We make way too much money on this war machine.
So here's what
Seriously.
happens. Trump wants to bring our troops back.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, me too.
Heck
yes,
yeah.
please.
Awesome.
And what happens? A story drops in the New York Times. Vladimir Putin is paying a bounty
Oh,
to
this
the
whole
to
thing.
the Taliban, to Afghan militants to kill American soldiers.
Yeah, this is another one of my friends. I say friends loosely because I don't really know them that well, but they were shoving this down my throat. How could you vote for Trump? Look at this information that I have about him knowing about them. And I'm like, okay, show me your information. I'll read it, sure, because I'm down to be proven wrong. You hear that?
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't
Yes,
care.
They don't
same.
care.
I am okay with being proven wrong.
Yeah, man.
In fact, I welcome it.
Bring it.
And everybody should be welcome to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
That's why.
You know-
and I read it. Hold on, I just want to say, I read it. No proof. None of it was proven. It was all like, well, now this is what we're talking about. So that could mean that this happened.
An
And it's
anonymous
like, what?
source.
What is this?
Yes.
An
No.
anonymous source.
No.
Experts say. It's like, okay, well, actually give me the experts because I want to read what they're saying. Don't just tell me an expert told you, and
You know what?
that's the way it is now.
No.
Nah.
You know what? It's true.
Oh, it is.
It absolutely is true.
All right. Well, since Tim told me,
I said it's true. Listen.
I do believe
listen.
him. Yeah.
The New York Times, the paper of record, the Gray Lady, has told us this is happening.
Yep.
Therefore,
Now, I don't need evidence if they said it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if it is true that Trump knew our soldiers are in danger, we must immediately bring back every single soldier from that country because their lives are in danger.
oh,
And what does
snap.
Trump do?
He says,
We should bring these people home.
Well, I'm
he's been
kidding.
fighting. No. I know. First off, he said I was never briefed on this.
right.
So
And
him
the
bringing the
Multiple
troops,
people said
trying to
that,
bring the
yeah.
troops home, had nothing to do with that.
Well, the joke
he was
I'm-
just trying to end the
the
war.
point I'm
No, I
making-
get what you're saying. I just wanted to say that.
If the argument is that Putin is offering money and our troops are in harm's way, guess we got to bring them all back.
Yeah, man.
We
That's
can't,
a good point.
You don't want your troops to be in danger, do you?
Right.
No,
And
Apparently
you
we
know
don't.
Trump's not there for them. We better bring our soldiers home
Get
from
them out of there,
Afghanistan.
man.
Newsflash: they were in danger before Putin even presumably did anything. They're in a war zone because we put them there.
Yep.
So let's get them out of there.
Yeah, good call.
I'm okay with that.
Afghanistan
Yeah.
was so dumb. You know why? Oh man, Iraq and Afghanistan surround Iran.
Yep.
John Bolton, that guy.
Ooh.
I love, man, The Onion wrote this article.
Oh, goodness.
It's a picture of John Bolton like this. He's like gasping and he's holding a gunshot wound. And it says John Bolton breaks into Oval Office screaming that he'd been shot by Iran.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. That dude. And now it's no surprise he is ragging on Trump. He's trying to sell a book.
Yep.
These people love war, man.
Yeah, he's a warmonger.
It's war is
Clearly.
war is money.
It makes
Yep.
money.
It keeps things a churning, baby.
Dude, it keeps the
Yep.
people united in some extent.
I mean, well, you know
It
who
did.
I think Trump has really activated a lot of people in such a tremendous way.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. The best. I cannot believe that I have people, friends of mine, actually going, well, maybe we do need soldiers in
Dude,
Afghanistan.
yeah.
I'm like, what? Dude.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh, man, the left is meaningless. It just doesn't even make sense anymore. How is it? We have this guy here, Super Chat. He's a conservative, and he's excited to bring our troops home. And I'm like, here.
Yes.
What?
Yep.
I know, yeah. I don't get it at all.
The neocons
Like,
were all
why-
about war.
Yeah, it's like everyone, this is what the more I'm looking into the like political realm, the issue's never really with the presidency. It's the House
system.
and the Senate.
It's the deep
totally.
They're pushing their propaganda machines. They're the ones who are really pulling the strings of what is going on in this planet.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, this
Well,
country.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's a crony establishment.
Absolutely.
And this is like, I
And
think
Trump is flipping he went in and flipped the table
Roll
over and
the
he said,
China
"Ha
shot."
ha, I'm going to go bring our troops home."
you know what they
Right.
said about Trump in like these leaked emails
What?
from the Democrats? They wanted to prop Trump up as a Pied Piper candidate because they thought if they made Trump the front runner, Hillary was guaranteed to win.
Right.
Little did they know.
Little did they know he actually had plans for this country, and
He actually cares about it.
He'd been talking about it for a long
Surprised.
time.
yeah, that's it. He loves America, and it's like, you know what? I see a lot of anti-America going on right
Sentiment,
now, and
yeah.
it pisses me off. I see friends of mine on Facebook. I'm calling them out. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm losing friends left and right. You know what? You're not even my friend. If
You've lost to no friends.
thank you, Tim.
Anybody
You're right.
Right.
who would say that.
Thank you, Tim.
It's
You're
true.
absolutely right. You know, it's like there is nothing wrong with being proud of this country. Nothing at all. And I am proud of this country.
You know what you need to
It's
do?
this country that made me who I am. And I love who I am.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Here.
TimcastIRL is announcing a special, all expenses paid vacation to a select list of countries for any person who prescribes to leftist ideology.
Yes. Possibly a second world country.
One-way ticket, though.
No. I offered
Yes.
this to people before.
Oh, yeah.
I got into an argument with a dude.
Yeah,
and I'm
go
like,
go see what it's like outside of
Yeah.
this
I
amazing
was like,
country.
where would you like to go?
Yeah, where? Anywhere.
Let's
And then
Get
we
you
had a
there.
conversation, and I said, I will get you a round trip ticket. I'll pay
Yep.
for your hotel, but you must sign a waiver that I am not responsible if you
For
die.
anything that happens to
Right.
you.
Yeah, nothing. I can't be held responsible for this. You're going of your own volition, and
You don't want.
It all falls apart, huh?
You don't want to go?
Yep.
Oh
you don't
man.
want to go?
Oh.
Do I need security? I had one person ask, do I need security? I'm like, I don't
Oh,
know.
for
Do you?
sure,
Do
dude.
you?
Do
you know
you?
what it's like to think I might need security in this place because you're fearful of your life every single day?
Yep.
Maybe that's what I should do. I should start a nonprofit that just buys plane tickets for the far left to go to like Morocco and Egypt and,
Yeah,
helicopter
maybe.
rides?
and Iran, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
What did
China.
you say?
I said helicopter rides.
No. No. I'm
Whoa.
talking economy
Just for
plus, baby.
sightseeing,
Brutal.
guys.
No.
Come
Brutal,
on.
Lydia.
Whatever.
Brutal.
Economy plus
Yes.
extra bag of pretzels.
Ooh.
That's right.
Nice.
Tim is a generous
That's-
God.
That's
They
true.
don't give peanuts anymore.
My
No, they don't because of
goodness.
allergies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
allergies.
But I will guarantee. You know what I will do? I will pay for your hotel. Get you a nice one. You pick the country.
will
Where-
it be
where do you wanna
nice
go?
though?
Well, I mean, nice is relative.
That's true.
So look, but I'll put it this way. I went to Sweden, and you've been to Sweden, and I went to the bad areas of Sweden. It was beautiful.
Yeah, even the bad areas are.
There's
really
problems.
nice.
There's grenade. There's a viral video recently of a grenade attack. Some locals went to the cops, and so the gang, they pull up and they throw a grenade onto their patio, and then
Dude,
whoosh,
what
blows
the
up.
heck?
Yeah.
There's problems, man.
Yeah, there's problems everywhere. Right.
So
There's problems in America. Like, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
There-
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
not saying that the police don't need reform. That's one of my friends is one of my friends. Like, he's a good buddy of mine. We kind of had a like slight argument, and he was just saying about like, how can you be proud of a country that like all this stuff needs to happen? I was like, well, I never said that all those things shouldn't happen. Like, sure, we do need some reforms.
Right.
Certain things need to happen. We can get better. But we also went from a slavery-based economy to now abolishing it because of the Constitution that we made.
Yep.
That, and now we've come a long way. And it's like, let's not destroy it all. Let's keep moving and progressing forward. That's, it's like we can still be happy and proud of the progress that we've made.
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
have made
I'm not going to
progress.
forget that progress. No
Right.
way. I'm not going to start treating people differently because of the color of their skin. No.
They want you to.
Definitely. I will never do that ever. That is one thing I won't do. I cannot do it. And you know what? I've seen racism in my life, and every single time that it's ever shown its ugly face in front of me, I've said something. I've quit my job. I've lost friends. I've kicked people out of my parents' house because they were just talking racist stuff, and I kicked them out of the house. It's like I will always speak up for it.
And you know what's funny?
What?
That almost sounds woke. It almost sounds woke, except for the
So
fact.
be it.
Except for the fact that when you understand what you're really
Actually
saying,
not.
they've changed the definition of the word racism. So they're talking about, my dad was waving an American flag, so I said, "Get out of my house! You're not welcome at my birthday party," which is like not racism.
No.
But I'm exaggerating, mind you. But it's like it's things like this. They're like, America itself is white supremacy.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
like no,
That's insane.
No, actually, that's not true. It's so insane. It's what's the funniest thing about this is that the fact that white people and are on both sides, either not woke or red pilled. Asian people, some are woke, some are red pilled.
Yep.
Black people, some are woke, some are red pilled. That proves it's not a race thing.
That's a good point.
It disproves their racial.
Right.
Like, that's
Race
why they
theory.
really, really don't like black conservatives
That's true.
or Asian conservatives
Yep.
or Latino conservatives. They really don't, because it really starts to hurt their ideas.
Well, why
And
do you
so
think when the Hodge twins posted my video of me
it
just
got deleted?
boom,
Yeah,
deleted. Terrence
Yep.
Williams, boom, deleted.
Yep.
They don't want that being shown around.
Mass flag it.
It's like, well, no wonder.
Yeah, for those that are listening, there's a video of Adam talking about voting for Trump, and Facebook nuked it after 2.4 million views.
Yep.
It's gone.
Yep.
It's gone, man. It's
It's
really
still going around on
creepy.
Twitter, but it's like, all I'm saying is I'm thinking logically. I'm doing the research myself, which I suggest to everybody. Do your own research and thoroughly do your research. Don't just read the title of the article. That's what all these people do. They're like, oh, this article proves it. I'm going to just pass it along. And I'm like, okay, I'll read this article that
I'm
you
gonna
sent me.
actually read it.
And I'm like reading it. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's an opinion piece. Why are you giving me an opinion
Right,
piece?
don't
What
do
is,
it.
what is this?
Listen.
I got my own.
One of the best opinion pieces I've read lately was that all news has become opinion. There's
That's a good point.
There's
Yeah.
no line separating
Boom.
the
truth
the
right
editorial
there.
page
Boom.
and the news page
It's
anymore.
very true.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I was working for Fusion. There was this big story that happened for internet-based individuals. Ellen Pao, the CEO of Reddit, had resigned, and a story came out from the New York Times that said interim CEO Ellen Pao resigns from Reddit, and it was like 100 words. The board announced that she would be stepping down. They would find a replacement in the coming weeks. Ellen Pao was serving as blah blah blah, and that was it.
Simple. Straightforward.
The next day,
News.
that URL, that same link, had been rewritten to an opinion piece about sexism in Silicon Valley.
Oh my
The title became something like Silicon Valley Bros 2, women in the workplace 0 or something, or feminist 0 or something like that. And then it was giving this opinion and analysis about the problems of women in tech and everything like that. The reason why this was such a big story for me at the time is that they changed the link. So if you let's say you post a link to a story.
Oh yeah. Let's say I shared the original post.
Let's
wow.
say you share the original story.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, look at this breaking news.
Yeah.
And the next day they change it to say a bunch of things like they love Nazis.
Right.
And then people are going to be like, whoa, Adam, what are you
How
sharing?
dare you?
Right. So
It's ridiculous.
when they switched it to a feminist article, all of a sudden you had people who probably shared the breaking news now inadvertently having shared a feminist article
Right.
without
That
realizing
is
it.
sneaky.
that
as
is
heck.
sneaky.
Very sneaky. And they
That's
didn't
Wow.
sneaky, dude.
they didn't put
I
a
don't like
correction
it.
on it. They didn't put an
Of course
update.
not.
Nope.
And so at Fusion, I said, I'm like in the Slack chat, and I'm like, whoa, dude, this is huge. It's huge because this story was the number 3 and number 5 most upvoted post of all time for Reddit and Reddit history.
Holy cow.
And they changed the story, disqualifying it, and the moderators deleted it. So record-breaking posts got deleted from Reddit because of the unethical activities of the New York Times. And so when I started working on putting something together, do you know what the people at Fusion told me?
What?
Don't report this story
What?
because then we'll get called out for it too. And I
Are you
said,
Wow.
serious?
are you implying
That you do this?
Are you telling me right now that our company
Wait, we do this?
will change articles without putting corrections or notes? Well, everybody does this.
Oh.
You're
The
like,
guy-
not me.
The guy who said it now works for the New York Times.
Are you serious?
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to modern journalism, man.
Journalism.
There's another story going around, and I'm mostly going to stay out of it
Okay.
because there are some woke journalists that I think are cordial enough, and they're nice to me, so I give them respect 100%. So I'm not going to get involved in dragging them if I think they're saying something very, very dumb or lying. I'll definitely call them out. But there's a few people who typically just report non-political news but are super woke. And now there's this big thing happening, and I'm watching the drama develop, and these news outlets are all writing about each other again, because like some journalists, did a story and then someone got mad, and now they're writing. Now there's like drama in different journalist organizations, and I'm sitting here just like, are you writing about each other again?
What a circle of
Did
jerks.
you see the story from the Washington Post where they wrote about a Halloween party 2 years ago, where a random woman no one ever heard of, who's not a public figure, was wearing blackface?
No.
And that's the story.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And everyone's
Cool.
like,
Yeah.
who's this woman?
They ruined her life.
Who is she, and why is she newsworthy?
Why is this news?
Seriously.
Because
Because
they
it's click-worthy.
write about each
Right,
other, man.
exactly.
Because people get emotionally compromised, and
So-
they trigger those emotions.
So what do you think happens when someone who is part of this uber woke culture gets canceled themselves? What do you think their immediate reaction would be?
I think I might know what you're talking about.
Do you think they would cry?
Yeah.
yeah.
How dare you? I'm fighting for you.
I really wanted this job.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about this. I was
yeah.
thinking about Alyssa Milano.
Oh yeah.
What
that
she?
too.
What was it? What happened with the?
Oh, you don't even know?
No.
Oh,
Okay,
snap.
so
because
she
the
did,
blackface
she
thing.
did Snooki
Yeah.
from
yeah.
Jersey Shore,
Yeah.
who she just, it was like a really, really dark tan.
Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't necessarily blackface.
It was like a Trump tan.
Yeah,
Darker.
Really, yeah, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Wow, how dare you! Like, look, let's cancel her." And she's just like, she went off on him, like, "Look, a-holes, like, it was Snooki, ha ha. It was supposed to be funny." It's like, oh, you're going for comedy.
Yeah.
That's
Now she's getting
Snooki's a
canceled.
minority.
that's what you're
When
doing.
when
huh?
did she
Yeah.
do that?
I don't know. It's been
It's an old video.
It's been going around.
Is
Yeah,
she
it just came up
crying?
recently?
She,
No, she's just
no,
mad.
she was snapping at him. She was.
No, like was Alyssa
all
Milano
mad.
crying?
I mean, I don't know. It was there's
'Cause
some there's funny stuff.
I was
comments in that, though.
referencing somebody specific.
I know.
yeah.
Oh, you're this we're talking about here.
I'm talking about this one
Yeah,
right
let's
here.
talk about this.
Oh, this lady.
Yeah, she's crying.
Oh my Lanta.
I don't even know if she's really crying.
Yo,
I think she's a sociopath.
I don't believe it's real either.
Yeah.
Because if you watch her crying video, she goes from crying into but I won't stop fighting
She's
for
so brave.
justice. And it was like whoa,
Okay.
what? Like
Psycho.
that's you're a joke.
So this is a story about.
Mm-mm.
Let's break it down. You maybe you've heard about this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Harvard grad said she lost her Deloitte job after a TikTok joke threatening to stab anyone who says all lives matter. It was a dumb joke. I saw the original video. It was a dumb joke.
It was a dumb joke.
She was trying to make a point that if she stabbed you and then you complained about it, she would say her paper cut was just as important.
Right.
But all that mattered is the clip was going viral of her saying, "I'm gonna stab you," and then she's like headbutting the camera or whatever, which is like some kind of meme or something.
Yeah.
And then she got fired.
And then all the comments were all lives matter, all lives matter, all
Yeah.
lives matter. And then she was like, for legal reasons, I have to say this was a joke. It's like, oh, it's too late.
Yeah, man.
It's
that
too
ship
late.
sailed.
Sorry, girl.
So here's I guess the Sun likes posting photos of her crying.
Right.
I don't believe she's actually crying though. Because she's milking it for all it's worth.
I lost my job. They're supposed to be on my side. But I won't stop fighting for justice.
Right.
It was like,
I'm brave.
oh, you turned that around real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call BS.
She's just making more videos, and the more now she's gonna make another video about this, about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of a controversy going around because at the same time, I say kind of a controversy, but I'm seeing some people talk about this. Stefan Molyneux got banned from YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know the exact reason because I don't follow him. I don't really know what his whole thing is, but he's accused of being far right and holding like supremacist views or something. Apparently, he says it's not true, and the left always, here's the problem. I'll tell you this right now. First and foremost, I'm not super familiar with Stefan Molyneux's work.
Okay.
Neither
am I. I don't know.
I briefly met him in passing one time while I was in LA, and it was like a 10-second thing. I was like, oh, yes, you're Stefan Molyneux. Nice to meet you. That was it.
Okay.
Not seen any of his videos. The left accuses him of a whole bunch of the worst of the worst. The only problem is they accuse everybody of it.
That's a good point.
So the only assumption I can make is he probably wasn't what they're accusing him of.
They've been crying wolf, man.
But it's also that there's other people on Twitter who are saying the accusations against him are completely false, but it got his channel terminated. Someone else who defended him got their channel terminated too.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're like, you better be careful about what you say about this guy. Don't say anything positive, I guess. But the issue right now is there's a lot of people actually defending this woman who's crying because cancel culture is stupid. Because it's very, very stupid.
It is, yeah.
She should not have lost her job because she said a stupid joke. That was obviously her trying to be edgy.
Agreed.
But she also, look, man, if you walk into your field and you throw about apple seeds, you can't complain when apple trees grow.
I have
Nice.
I have a point because I mildly disagree with Tim here. I think that she has shown herself to be impulsive, wildly emotionally manipulative, extremely cunning and dishonest, and I think that any company would be well within their rights to say, you are a risk that we are not ready to take. And I don't think that's fair because I think it was just a joke, but I think they had every right. Oh, you know who else got fired? I just found out. The husband of that lady who pulled a gun on that couple.
Got fired?
He got fired from his job at Oakland University in Rochester, Michigan.
Wow.
Yep.
Good.
They
Good.
tweeted it. Why is this good?
Because, look, man, if people can't stand up for themselves, if you're not going if people are going to, you need to defend yourself. You need to do the right thing.
Yeah, I saw someone just super chatted. They're like, good on Adam. He's actually giving me more of a, like, I'm inspired to speak my mind.
Yeah.
I am calling my friends out. I'm calling people. I mean, I don't care. I'm calling anyone out. If I see it, I am calling you out on it. Doesn't matter. And I'm going to have a conversation. You probably won't like it. And I don't care if you don't like it or not, but I'm going to have that conversation with you. People need to start standing up because we keep talking about it. The people on the left, they're super loud. They don't have jobs to go through. They're just screeching the loudest right now. We have to screech as loud as they are. It's like, you know what? I will be a loud buzz in your ear. I'm going to talk. I'm going to announce the things that I believe
totally
in
will.
and back myself up.
There's a couple things here with this weird, with this woman and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's that because regular people aren't speaking up, the perception among many people is that the hip, cool culture, the acceptable culture is this.
Yep, exactly.
Because all the big brands are doing it, all the celebrities are doing it. And so there's actually I have a funny story because I was arguing with someone who I would say is, a long-time friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying a bunch of things about me being biased and, how their memes are better than me and stuff like that. And how, like, they think how it's so sad because their perspective is they're on the side of the mainstream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, you've become this, like, weirdo fringe conspiracy guy, dude. And I was like, look, what happened to you? And I was like, do you read the news? Do you actually know what's going on?
Nope, they
What
don't.
makes you think that I'm on the outside and you're on the inside?
Right.
And so then I explained to him, I was like, you realize I've been on one of the biggest podcasts in the world multiple times now, 3 times in the past year, that I've been hanging out with famous pro skateboarders and musicians. And then guess what his attitude became? Oh, really? Oh, I mean, whoa, that's really cool, man. All of a sudden,
Who has really moved?
A lot of people believe that the mainstream is this weird brand. Brand is very concerned about social issue, and we know that group of people need to be protected.
Yeah.
That's what they think is real life.
For all of Pride, they had the flags.
Stupid little
The
flags.
next day, boop,
It's
gone,
you've got-
all gone.
Yep.
Like,
You've got
sure, what
some
a
of the most
surprise.
famous pro skateboarders in the world,
Mm-hmm.
rock stars, and these are people who hit me up.
Yep.
And they're like, yo, dude, I love the show. And I'm like, I really do appreciate it, man. I wish these people would speak up more.
Right.
And you don't got to be mean. You just got to
Yeah.
be calm and rational and say, look, man, I'm not down with this weird stuff. I think it's racist.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's how I've been doing it. It's like, look,
it's-
I'm not trying to rag on you. I'm not trying to berate you for your beliefs. I'm giving you my opinion and backing it up with actual things that are happening because you're giving me your opinion backed up by other opinions.
Well, for me, it's more of an issue of who they perceive to be cool
Okay.
and socially acceptable.
It's a good point.
And so when they think when they live off of memes and they think what we do, for instance,
Yeah.
must not be popular.
Right.
And then I say things to them about like metrics versus guests and like prominence, and all of a sudden their tune changes, realizing, wait a minute, am I on the wrong side? Uh-oh.
Are
Am
we the
I-
baddies?
Are we the baddies? And I'll say to them, look, bro, you know, like there are people I grew up skateboarding with who had aspirations of being the biggest pro skateboarders in the world. And then they're posting this ridiculous, zealous fanaticism.
Yep.
They're mean, nasty people. They're shrieking. They're engaging in cancel culture.
Yep.
And then I say, do you think, you know, pro skateboarder, you know, X and Y would want to hang out with you when you do this stuff? Because I'll tell you something. I know for a fact they wouldn't. You know why? Because I talk to them.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Well, really?
you do? Yeah, I do. And I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out at a party with like some high profile musicians and rock stars. And I'm not saying that to brag, man. I'm letting you know that there are regular people in this country who are scared of the weird, shocking nonsense that's going on.
Yep.
People you
And there's a
admire.
reason why people want to listen to a show like mine, want to listen to YouTube videos like mine, or would want to listen to, say, Joe Rogan, for instance.
Yep.
Now, you know he's famous, right? And all of a sudden their tune starts changing. And they start to think to themselves, oh, maybe I'm the weirdo.
Yep.
Maybe this stuff is weird and unfun and nobody wants to be involved in it. Now, of course, there are some, you see these celebrities, but take a look at what happens with these celebrities. Like, what was the I take responsibility.
That's embarrassing, that video.
Everyone made fun of
Dude.
them, even the left. So
Well, first it was the Imagine song video that went
Oh
around.
man, hurts so much.
And then the I Take Responsibility was kind of
Yeah.
like that 2.0. And it was equally cringy and bad.
Right. And so you have all these celebrities constantly trying to inject themselves in this way,
Or the Prince.
and it's not fun.
What-
It's not funny.
Or is he even a prince anymore? Didn't he?
Oh,
didn't he-
Prince Harry.
Oh my gosh.
Someone said something that I cracked up laughing. Someone said it looked like a hostage video.
It did.
Like he was speaking.
Everyone was saying that.
Like someone like said had a gun, you know, behind the
his
camera.
wife.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
read this.
So cancel the Queen.
Right. It's like if you really believe this, so you're like the epitome of
so
this.
This video is basically Prince Harry talking about how institutional racism is bad. There is nothing more institutionally racist than
literal
hereditary
institution.
monarchy. So
Right.
how about we have the Queen step down and you can appoint a black, Asian, or minority ethnic, or what was it, Middle East? Is it Middle Eastern or minority ethnic?
Minority ethnic. Yeah.
You can appoint that as your queen. I would nominate Beyonce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
she's already the
Yeah,
queen,
she
right?
is the queen.
Everybody loves her.
Yep.
How about we
know, whatever.
ask the good people of the United Kingdom if they would like to see the Queen step down,
see
because
what they say.
Prince Harry certainly thinks that institutional racism is a problem. I know what the answer is going to be. F you.
Yeah,
Seriously.
God
right.
save the Queen.
Yeah.
But I was talking to some British friends of mine, and I made that point, and it's like, they love the Queen.
Yeah, they do.
Could you imagine them being like, well, the Queen is white, and the monarchy is literally
Institution.
It's beyond institutional racism, because we're talking about like a single
Colonies, are you
bloodline,
kidding?
Right.
a single bloodline. So like, you don't even there's just never gonna happen. Well, I guess technically Harry married Meghan Markle, I guess,
But
and she's mixed
okay.
race.
Yeah.
Right. But didn't they renounce their royalty or something?
Yeah, something
and move
stupid.
to California to
Stupid.
be celebrities?
Yep.
Can you
that's what
appoint a
happened.
queen? Like,
And when wanted the U.S. government to give them security, it's like
The
Yeah. What?
nerve. My
you
goodness.
gave
Let's
up your
have,
royalty.
let's have affirmative action in the royal family. Why not? I mean, does she really do anything at this point?
I don't know.
She is the head of state.
You know, Sweden
know a whole lot
has a
about-
king.
Yeah,
King
yeah,
and
yeah.
queen.
King, queen.
Yeah. What do they do?
They're figureheads, right?
Yeah, they're not. It's not
Yeah.
like the government. It's kind of like, I think they are.
They just get to be
royalty.
rich forever.
Yeah, I
They're
guess.
like the face of they're diplomatic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They get to be rich forever.
Yeah.
That's basically like, I know that they have royal duties, and apparently, what was that?
You got the spritz.
Why is
They're starting to fight, and I just want to.
you got to give the
Nip
cats
it.
Get the
you got
spritz.
to spritz the cats when they're causing trouble.
We got cat
Let's
spritz.
go.
Keep the peace.
So there are two cats, and Adam is spritzing them because
I
that's
have
what you
two.
do.
I can't get
Well,
them.
Betsy was biting him, and it's like
in-
Were they
Instigating.
playing, and did you just break up their play
Their
fight?
little play fight.
They
Uh,
weren't making noise.
I don't know. They were. Well, I saw it. You didn't see it,
Did-
all right?
did
I
you-
saw it. I have the proof here.
Are you oppressing the cats?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Absolutely.
What you just did.
All pets are slaves, all right?
I want you to. I
Okay.
want you to imagine everyone listening. Adam with a large fire hose, just spraying these poor cats.
I asked what kind of gun I should use. A lot of people did a squirt gun.
A squirt
Yeah.
gun
Yeah,
for what?
and I chose it.
A
He did.
spritzer.
You got it.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You can't just
Oh, yeah.
spritz
We're
water
spritzing the
randomly.
Blindly, I know I have no trigger discipline.
It's true.
You gotta
We're
keep.
learning.
You gotta keep when you
Whoa,
have
whoa,
the
whoa!
spritz bottle.
Did you just muzzle me?
Whoa.
Did you just muzzle me with that?
You gotta keep it
What's
pointed
happening
down,
over there?
and you gotta keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to
Spritz the cat. That's
Yeah.
true.
And so the first rule of the spritz bottle is always treat a spritz bottle as if it has water.
Yeah.
The second rule is always keep it pointed down.
Yep.
Keep your finger off the trigger, and don't point it at anything you don't want to spritz,
Like a camera.
Oh man.
like a camera. What were we just talking about?
I don't know.
I thought we were talking about something important.
Totally lost
Now we're
it.
talking about
The
spritzing
Queen.
cats.
The queen. Canceling the queen.
Celebrities
Sweden's queen.
speaking
King.
up for stuff that why are we
They know
putting
nothing
them on a
about.
pedestal?
Yeah.
Basically,
I don't know.
I have
Is that
lived
good?
a wild and crazy life. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I have lived a wild.
Hey, you know what? Me too.
Yeah.
We've had some interesting
times.
stuff.
we went to Denmark more than once, didn't we?
Yeah, twice.
Christiania. I know I went to Copenhagen too many times.
We could release that video now. I'm not in
Oh, it's
contract.
gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know where that footage is.
Yeah,
Hard drive
'cause-
buried in the basement.
Because you can. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it.
So
Sounds interesting.
Christiania Christiania is the autonomous zone of Denmark,
Oh,
basically.
they actually have a
And that's-
real
and-
autonomous zone.
and that's what they were basically trying to
Yeah.
like emulate.
yeah, but
is-
it's been around since the 70s.
They actually figured it out.
Right,
legitimately
right.
do it. Yeah.
yeah, but it's more of a fun.
Well,
You know.
really, what happened was these buildings were crumbling. It was an old military installation, a barracks, and the city didn't want to do anything. So a bunch of hippies moved in and started fixing everything.
Oh, cool.
And fixed it up and turned the whole complex essentially into their new spot. And they're like, "This is our zone," and they've made it their own. And
Yeah.
For them.
so, yep,
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
gardens.
And we went.
Yep,
But,
an awesome skate park.
here's why I was bringing this up.
Cool.
Not to like start talking about Christianity or anything, but
I'm totally down though.
you know when I mention like I've done a bunch of crazy things in my life,
Mm-hmm.
I know all of these people I grew up with, and they really do think. I know how they think. I grew up with them. They think that they're part of the cool kids club when they embrace this new religion.
Yep.
So they start saying a bunch of dumb things on Facebook. I always approach them politely, and I'll say something like, "Oh, actually, like here's the data on this," and they start going, guffawing and like, "But I'm part of the cool kids club. Like, what are you even doing? Like,
Are
what happened to
you?
you, man?"
Are you
And then-
even an influencer? How many followers do you have?
It's not
Good
even like that. It's
question.
that they're convinced that. So this is really important too for people who consider themselves to be like moderate in the intellectual dark web type space or conservative or whatever. Regular people have been trained to view you as a fringe outlier, not a part of regular America. And that works. So in their mind, if they want to be cool, Trump is bad.
Right.
Well, if you were a free-thinking individual, you could come to your own opinion like, yeah, but not that bad, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like, here's some things I like about him. Here's some things I don't like about him. Come on, let's be real. Even when I talk to the average Trump supporter, they have complaints.
Yeah.
They have criticisms.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of support for him.
Yeah, and you know what? Whoever you vote for, I don't care. I'm not gonna like put you in a bracket in my brain that's gonna be like, well, this person's just an idiot that will vote for whoever. And it's like, I don't care who you vote
Well-
for. I have my opinions on what's going on. I have my own political views myself. It's like, but don't put me in a bracket of I'm an evil person. Because of it. It's like that's ridiculous.
But would you vote for Stalin?
No,
Would you be friends with someone who voted for Stalin?
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
I probably wouldn't be friends with those people.
Exactly.
So
So
okay.
from the perspective of, if you wanted to vote for Biden,
Mm-hmm.
you want to vote for Trump, that's fine because they're actually similar. They're within the Overton window.
Right.
So the issue is actually that if Stalin was on the ticket, I would not want to be friends with anybody who would vote for him, right?
Agreed.
I'd be like, you're insane. This guy literally kills people.
Yeah.
That's how the far left thinks right now.
Yeah.
They think Trump is Hitler
That's crazy.
because they've gone insane. And so now I'm like, I don't care if you vote for Bernie or Biden or Trump. I'm not a crazy person. And I recognize,
Yep.
while Bernie's got a bunch of far left ideas, he's like the furthest left of what's acceptable in this country. And it's barely acceptable in a lot of ways, but still acceptable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like if someone said, I want universal health care, you'd be like, I don't think that would work, but you're not going to screech.
Yeah.
If someone came out like Stalin came out and he's like, I want to take all the land from the farmers, we'd be like, whoa, you're going to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
That's nuts. So the problem right now is the fanatic far left lives in a paranoid delusional state where
Yep.
they literally think they're fighting in La Resistance against the Nazi, regime or whatever, and it's psychotic.
It is.
Regular people, however, are just convinced because the celebrities are cool and Trump is dumb. That's what you got to say to be cool. So then when I come back with a counter narrative like I'm successful, I got my own skate park, dude. We're recording music. Where have you been? Where have you been? You're the one who missed the train. Make them realize that the reality is there's an illusion. It's like a curtain over everything, in my opinion. When I get hit up, and I mean this, and I'm not trying to say this just to brag. Like when I literally get hit up by like a rock star, very, very famous celebrity musician being like, I'm so glad you're saying what you're saying. And then I get angry and I'm like, why won't you say something? I'll lose everything. I'll lose my career. I'm like, whatever, man. When I hear that, I'm like, I know what real life is. I know what regular people are interested in. And it's not this weird fanaticism.
Yeah.
It's just that as long as no one is speaking their mind and saying calmly and politely, I'm actually not okay with that.
Right.
I'm not, we don't do that here. Right.
Yep.
As long as no one's doing that, then the wokeness is perceivably the mainstream. And that's what they're counting on. And that's why they threaten you with violence. That's what cancel culture is for. To make you scared you'll lose your job.
Yep. I got people hitting me up nonstop. People that I've known for a while. They're like, it's emotions. They're emotionally triggered and screeching at me. And I'm just like, do you even hear yourself what you're saying to me?
They don't.
You don't, and I'll try to calmly talk to them. Like, okay, this is what led me to think these things and the reason I think this. And, can we chat? Boom. No longer
No.
friends. Can't even contact them anymore. It's like, all right, I guess that's the way it is. Like, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
What do you got, Lydia?
So I think it really gives you a leg up to have thought through everything that you think.
Yep.
And I think it's a huge advantage because they don't.
Yeah,
That's
you're
why
absolutely right.
when you ask them, why do you think this? They're like, well, I saw a headline once somewhere. And you're like, well, I actually read the article and it says the opposite of what you're arguing.
Yeah.
So maybe
What's
you
worse
should...
than that? They go, here's the article that proves you wrong. And I go, okay, let me
look at this.
dive into
Yeah.
that. Sure, I want to be proven wrong.
Right, sure.
I love it. I want the other side of things. Read it. It doesn't show me anything.
Yeah, it
but
says the
your
opposite.
opinion. Okay, so, and I show that to them, and then they don't like that.
Yeah.
Somebody just said in the chat,
Oh, boy.
in all caps, Tim talks to the fat guy from Smash Mouth.
What?
I just thought that was funny.
Is this true?
It's
I
not
need
true.
to know. What
No.
the heck?
I'm not talking to the guy from Smash Mouth.
Random.
Hey, man,
amazing.
Walking on the Sun. That's a good song.
That is, yeah, that Shrek song.
No, that's not Walking on the Sun.
No, I know, but the Shrek song is Smash Mouth.
What?
Yes. Thank
I
you.
was kind of doing
It's
a bad
Walking
version
on
of
the
Walking
Sun.
on the Sun.
Yeah.
Smash Mouth. What's wrong with Smash Mouth?
The
Absolutely
only thing you
nothing.
should be smashing is the like button.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Remember, 30,000 likes, and I'll play a song at the end of the show.
No, I can't. It's not going to happen.
Oh.
Well, way to just shut me down.
Shut you down.
My boss
sorry.
is the worst.
I'm
man.
sorry. See, these people watching don't have the strength to smash that like button.
They lack the strength? I'm disappointed.
I'm just kidding.
I'm so disappointed.
We just don't have 30,000 people watching.
Okay, that's
that's
fair.
why.
Okay.
So we already got 9,000 likes. What's
something.
we get 20,000 more? You guys want to hear me play a song? I will play a song at the end of the show
They're
for
like,
30,000 likes.
Tim's reading the chat now. It's like I often do read the chat.
Yeah,
They don't-
he kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you just can't see it because when the camera's on me, I'm not reading. When the camera's off, I'll be looking at the chat, the super chat.
yeah.
That's true. He
See what
does this.
people got going on?
Yep. See what the
People are
peeps
saying
thinking.
Tim Pool loves Smash Mouth. I think I know 2 Smash Mouth songs.
I know, too.
Do they have more?
I don't know.
Like popular ones? I mean.
Probably.
No, I mean like hits.
I have
me-
no idea.
If
Let me
you
do a
guys are,
quick Google.
I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat.
What are we doing right now?
What are we doing
Smash
in our lives?
Mouth.
Smash the like.
We got to do it. We got to do a
Wait,
soundboard.
what?
I know.
I think
Dude, we need a soundboard so
yeah,
badly.
because we
Come
need
on.
we need Greta Thunberg's "How Dare You,"
Dare you?
and
dare
we
you.
need Eric Swalwell's "Cheat an Election."
Yes.
Yep.
Cheat an election.
And someone's actually building me a physical like button to
button.
smash.
Oh, cool.
Yep. They hit me up on Twitter. They were like, "Hey, I can actually build you a physical light button that you can smash." And I was like, "Yes,
What'll it
of
do?
course." What do you mean? I'm gonna smash it,
no, I know, but like, will it light up? Will
regardless or irregardless.
Oh
Now
my
which
gosh,
is,
it's in the
no.
did you hear? It's now a word.
How dare you, Adam? How
They-
dare you say
They made it a word.
irregardless?
It's officially a word.
No.
No, regardless is a word.
Yes,
Irregardless
irregardless is not.
a word because it makes no sense, but they finally
It
added
is
it.
not a word.
They just keep adding
They
things
changed
to
the
it. They just keep
definition of
changing the
racism.
dictionary. It's ridiculous.
Screw them.
But anyway,
how
Anyway.
regardless, I'm going to smash that like
Thank
button.
you.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. I'm very excited about it.
How about we jump over to super chats?
Yeah, let's do that since we're going that way anyway.
Yeah, why not?
Alex, okay, so if you haven't already, you can jump into the super chats, but we
And if
can't
you haven't
really get to
already, you
everybody.
can smash the like button. Oh, I thought that's
and
smash
what you were gonna say.
the subscribe button and the notification bell.
Yep.
And we do the show every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m.
And you can follow me. There's my tag.
You can follow Adam.
At Adam Krigler. Yep, everywhere.
Instagram
all
and,
over the place.
Twitter. You can follow at
Parler.
Timcast.
YouTube.
Instagram, Twitter, and Parler. That's right.
Boom.
Yeah, we're using
Parler.
Parler.
Might as
And you can,
well.
of course, follow at Sour Patch Lids.
Sour Patch Lids.
LYDS.
At all those places as well.
Excellent.
Yep.
Now let's read what some of y'all have to say in the super chats. Alex says, "Help! I've been trapped in a desktop UFO for weeks. Please stop the spinning."
I'm
Never.
spinning it for you.
Spin it more. He loves it.
You're gonna get dizzy.
Benjamin Stevens says, "PewDiePie did a video on cancel culture today. It was
Oh.
pretty good. This is why
cool.
I love that he's on top of YouTube. Check it out. Love you guys."
Right
Cool.
on.
Appreciate it. Cole says, "If I had a nickel for every corrupt person in our government, I'd have enough money to pay off all $21 trillion of our debt."
Ooh.
How many politicians do we have
I
in
was
the
just
US?
thinking. I don't think
No,
that
it's like
math
40
checks out.
It's like
We have
40,000.
So many. Yeah, we have a lot.
It's like 40,000 actually.
That's
because
not
of-
21 trillion.
No, of course not. It's actually very little
It's
money.
a slight
I think,
exaggeration.
That's like that math.
$1,000
That they were like, they can give $1 million to every
No, it's
citizen instead of it was like
$2,000, I
$1.
think. Would it be $2,000? Am I doing my math wrong?
Math.
math wrong.
Oh, math.
Daniel says, "July 4th, 2020 will go down in history as the day of the first purge." LOL. Love the channel. Appreciate it. We'll see what happens. It's going to be
We'll
only,
see.
I guess, only a partial lunar eclipse.
We should do a special,
Yeah, it is partial.
a special July 4th
It's not
episode.
complete.
It's Saturday, though.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be going out for the
That's
4th of
the
July.
special
That's right.
episode.
We're doing stuff.
I'm going to be, turning my flashlight on and off.
Yeah, people are trying
holding up a
to
lighter.
turn it into like all countries day. All
It's a
countries
joke.
matter.
It's gotta be.
It's meant to
not.
be a troll.
Well, see, that's the problem with trolls sometimes because like the Karens see it and they're like, "Oh yeah, see,
such a great
this
idea."
is what they're talking about. Pass it along," and it goes from troll to reality.
Yep.
And then the Karens. I mean, I use Karen. Whatever, it could be anyone that falls for the troll, passes it on as
becomes
reality,
real.
and then that becomes the new reality, and that's more of the issue of why it's gotten as bad as it is now.
There was people have been joking about this, that maybe what's really happening is that the woke left was actually just a troll from 4chan as a joke.
Yeah,
And people thought it was real and rolled with it.
Oh my
It-
goodness.
exactly what I was just saying.
I
like
see
the
it.
OK hand
I
sign
see it.
and milk.
I see it. I see that being the true case. Like I
There's
was
so
saying
many
about the
cases of
movies.
that, yeah.
Like the movies just got they were looking at it as reality, and then like they made it the
there-
reality, and then got worse and worse and worse.
There
And
was
then
a-
we got the trolls.
There was a big thing where 4chan was saying, so they used the Pepe meme.
Right.
And then they wanted, because celebrities started using it, normies were using it, they said, let's make Pepe racist so that way the normies stop using it.
Right.
They did it.
They did it.
Like-
the Mad Lads.
Yeah, they made it work and the media ate it all up. They started making a bunch of racist memes and then they did it.
Yep.
And the celebrities got all embarrassed, I guess.
Yep.
Because like
Everyone
Katy
has
Perry was
pictures.
using a Pepe meme or whatever. Let's read some more of these super
All
chats.
right, there we go.
Let's see here. Josh Ryman says, "I'm a conservative and so is my wife. We both appreciate what all of you have done trying to bring the two parties of this nation together. Hope common sense will regain a footing in this zombified nation."
Me
I
too.
agree.
Me too.
Johan Oldman says, "What are your thoughts on Brett Weinstein's Unity 2020 plan for a centrist presidential campaign?" I have not done an in-depth deep dive or whatever, but my understanding is that it sounds like Brett is calling for a third-party candidacy.
Yep.
That's it.
Right.
That's all we know so far.
Well, it's like two presidents though. It's not just one. It's like
A president and a vice president.
working to right. I know it's funny.
Isn't that what it is?
Kinda,
It's,
yeah.
It's a ticket with two people, and they
Right,
flip a coin
right.
to see who becomes the president,
Yeah.
and then they work together.
Right.
And it's supposed to be someone center left and center right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, although I think Brett is an absolutely intelligent man, very, very smart.
Yeah.
My issues with it are, it sounds like for someone as well versed on wokeness,
Mm-hmm.
what center left candidate could you get that would appeal to any of those people?
I think David Yang was one of the choices.
Andrew Yang?
Andrew Yang.
Or, I'm sorry, Andrew Yang, and then Tulsi Gabbard was another suggestion.
Well, Tulsi Gabbard wouldn't work for the left.
No.
we don't
She,
like
she
her.
would she would work for the right only in the capacity of anti-war, but not for any of her policies.
Okay.
So she's fairly progressive on a lot of issues,
Yeah.
but then fairly moderate.
Yeah.
So who's a center-right candidate the left would vote for?
I don't know.
I just don't. What it really sounds like is the left and the right have become so far removed from each other, mostly because the left has just skyrocketed off in a random direction, that a middle ground candidate would still be relatively far left if you're trying to appease the far left.
Well, and it's like Unity 2020. It's like you got to introduce these kind of ideas long beforehand.
Way
It's like
before
trying to
now.
change the voting, the way we vote. It's like now. It's
Oh,
like,
they're trying
no,
to do it right now?
No,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that's what he's Unity 2020. So it's obviously for the 2020 election. It's like, no, you can't do that. You can't just like, let's just slam it in there and make this change. It's like, that's not going to work. You got to
Ultimately,
you got to think long term and plan ahead a little longer.
It's a third party candidacy.
Yeah, you're right.
Most people who vote walk in the room and go R, walk in the room and go D, and that's it. They don't think twice.
You're right.
So sure, you could probably muster up a couple million votes for a third party candidate, especially if you got a big IDW push from it.
Well, there's these charts that I looked into it a little bit, and on their website, you know, they voted like who would you vote for? Are you independent? Are you this, that, and the other thing? And they showed like a graph, and they only did like under 1,000 people. It was like 900 votes. So it wasn't really very broad. It was catering to the people that followed them already. So, you know, it's really hard to actually tell if it would work how they're saying it.
It wouldn't work.
No.
It would not work, especially when you consider that the establishment still has wealth and still has players involved.
Yeah.
They're not going to let that happen.
No.
A populist unity uprising? They're not going to let Trump win.
They'd fight tooth and nail against that.
So it's just it sounds
point.
like
Both sides.
from what I've read so far, it sounds like an interesting idea, but it just sounds like a third party. It's like a centrist populist run.
Yep. You're right.
I'm down because we have far left populism and right wing populism. Where's left wing populism? The only version of left wing populism we have is socialists. What about just like general, regular liberal? We don't have it.
No.
So the only option for the politically homeless individuals, people like me, is the closest party to me is Trump, the Republicans.
And
I'm like,
that's the closest I've heard.
That sucks.
You saying it.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. It's like
You're right. No,
you've
you're
got the
right.
two parties. The left goes like this, and the right goes like this. And I'm right here, like, well, I can look to my right, I can see Republicans. I look to my left, I see nothing.
Yeah.
I got to actually walk for miles before I can actually see somebody who's on the left because they've all gone so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
They're on a train, they're just leaving, and they're yelling at us to get off their train. And we're like, we got off a long time ago,
All right,
buddy.
Yeah.
bye.
Let's see what we got. Some more super chats. Justin Force says, breaking, Manitoba man armed with a rifle shotgun attempted to storm Rideau Hall, the residence of the Prime Minister and Governor General, by ramming the front gates.
Oh, wow.
The man is a current member of the Canadian Armed Forces. Whoa! What? Did this just happen?
Dude, Canadians
Wow.
are upset with the Canadian government.
Their
That's
last
for sure.
mass shooting was a little sketchy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, did you hear about this?
Yep.
There's a story coming out now where apparently this guy may have been an agent of
Yep.
like special forces
Yeah.
who committed a mass shooting, and they used that shooting as the pretext for a massive gun ban.
Right.
That's crazy.
Convenient.
It's all coming apart. Maybe
It's all coming
maybe
together.
the swamp is being drained.
Conspiracy.
Caleb McDaniel says, when it comes to Biden, what are your thoughts on Ukraine and Hunter Biden? Hunter has disappeared, and I can almost guarantee you that Trump will bring this up during debates, if they happen, of course. They probably won't. Joe Biden is saying he's not going to have rallies because of COVID, so he's certainly not going to debate because of COVID. They'll use a CGI Joe Biden.
I thought they agreed to 3 debates.
Did they?
I think
think
they
they
did.
did,
I'm
yeah.
not sure.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Trump team wanted 4 debates. Biden's was like, no, 3.
Hunter Biden's corrupt. Joe Biden is corrupt. Everybody's talked about it for years. And it was only when Joe Biden announced he was running, the media stopped calling him corrupt.
And Biden's super racist too.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the
dude.
more I
His
look
old
into it, the
comments,
more I am just seeing these racist comments from him. It's just like, wow, how is no one talking about that in this temperature of America right now? Like everything's about race.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they not seeing that? I don't get
Under
it.
the rug.
All right, let's see what we got. Super Bam Bam says, in the ER right now, still want to watch your show. Hey,
gosh,
appreciate
dude,
it, man.
I hope you're okay.
Hope you're okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Blue Saber says, honestly, I would be okay with making everyone wear a mask if they would just open the effing country. But we all know why they would never do that. Now spin that UFO.
I will do it. Spending for you.
Wish is our command.
Depot says, imagine being so scared of being called a racist that you'll respond by either drawing a gun, supporting a Marxist insurrection, or avoiding spinning a nearby UFO. Ooh, he got you.
Ooh, zing.
Cody
I'll
Evans
spin
says,
it. I'll
y'all
spin it.
going to Gettysburg on the 4th? Also, gently make love to that like button and rock that little alien's world. No, we are not going to Gettysburg on July 4th. Or should I just say we are?
Ooh.
We will secret. No, we're not going to.
Maybe.
Dude, there's no way you should go there.
I
Yeah,
would
don't
not
think
go
so.
there.
You
I'd
are,
show your
I'm
face
sure, one on their top hit list for like the Antifa people trying to take out their opposition.
Not the top. But
I'm sure you're on the list.
Definitely on the list.
You've
Short
had
list.
threats
Yep.
already, so
Yeah, I'm definitely not near the top though. That's for sure.
okay.
But they really don't like me. The most they do is they shall F Tim Pool.
Okay.
They've actually physically attacked. Like Jack Posobiec just got physically attacked in DC. So
Andy.
and Andy no, oh they really want.
They
They
hate
spray
him.
paint threats
Murder
to
Andy,
him.
no,
Wow.
yeah, for sure.
Chris Kabler says, want to know more about the deranged Harvard chick. We did talk about it. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here. We will jump down and grab a big old super chat. Tanner says, I got my Security Plus. In happier news, Trump is pushing guidelines to deprioritize having a degree in federal hiring. They're moving to skill-based hiring. Maybe this can be a step toward getting rid of college necessity.
That's so great.
I love this.
I love that.
You got to have the skills.
Skills to pay
Prove you got
bills.
the
here we go.
skills. That's what we want.
Whitaker says some good news. Jordan Peterson seems to be recovering nicely.
Yes.
He had a podcast with his daughter. He called this atmosphere years ago. Yes, he certainly
True.
did.
I haven't watched that podcast, but it's on my docket.
Dark Gift Comics presents. Big fan. Lifelong Dem here in Jersey, and I've been fighting this for 6 years now in the comic book community. But have been scared of the overall effect on the world. Will most likely vote Republican this November for the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Wow,
hearing
man.
I'm hearing that a lot.
Welcome.
Dude,
I'm hearing that a lot.
I don't understand. You know, okay, so I guess there's an argument about people who have families. They don't want to speak up because they got to feed their kids.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of feel like if you don't speak up and you have kids, you're guaranteed. I'm sorry, man. You're leaving your kids a battered hellscape for a future. And to me, I'm like, you got to speak up. Otherwise, you're putting your kids at risk by refusing to stand up for them. What kind of world will you leave them? But I can understand why, in the immediate, it is easier if you don't have kids to make these kinds of calls.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm kind of like, dude, I'm the kind of person to where if I went outside and someone started screaming at the top of their lungs and throwing things at me because they said, you know, F Trump or whatever, I would go buy 50 Trump flags and plant them all over my house.
He is, yes.
I'm the kind of person where if you come up to me and start screaming, I'm going to be like, I'm going to do the opposite because F you. I do what I want. You hear the story about that guy? His friend put a Trump flag in his yard as a joke. And then the neighbors complained and the city told him to take it down.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, my friend put it there as a joke. And like, well, you got to remove it. And he goes, why? So then he bought a bigger sign.
I know.
Seeing Tim in the
Yeah,
future.
I love that.
He's like, I'll make a bigger one.
He decked out
And they
his
got a big-
yard.
then he decked out his
that's
yard.
Great.
Yeah. All right. This one's for you, Adam.
Okay.
What is your this is from Adam Hestis. What is your favorite longboard?
Sadly, you can't get this one anymore, but I designed it myself with the Arbor team back when I was riding for Arbor skateboards. It was called the Catalyst. You could probably find it somewhere, but it's really good. It was a symmetrical drop-down twin tail, great pushboard for pushing around New York, but you can also trick it. I could kickflip it. It was a really fun board. It's definitely my favorite, but yeah.
Someone in the
Arbor
regular
Catalyst.
chat says, okay, Tim, then name the Antifa leaders. First of all, and I will address this, you know their names already. If you follow Andy No, he posts all about them.
All their
and I'll say one obvious leader is Yvette Falarka,
Yep.
who I've covered over and over again on this channel. The reason I don't say their name is because I don't want to give them attention so they can gain following and have people flock to them. That's why I don't say their names, not because I'm avoiding calling them out. That's why I'll just say follow Andy. Andy No. Andy NGO. That's his name.
Mr. Andy No.
And he posts the photos and the names and all of the information about them. So if you want to know who their leaders are, what the organizations are called, the individual cells, he'll post all of that stuff. Personally, I avoid saying the names of organizations and people because I don't want to give them attention. And I
Yep.
don't want them to be able to recruit off of that because there are people who hate watch. There are people who will take the clip and then share it around and say, aha, look, it's working. Here's the person. And then people will seek out these individuals. So, yeah.
It's like
But
Toilet Girl.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name,
Toilet
don't
Girl.
either.
That's right.
Don't intend
but she
to.
licked the toilet.
She
Yeah.
did.
And it
So
was
what
gross.
I'm talking about is not standing up and screaming the names of Antifa individuals. I'm talking about if you're at work and they're like, hey, we're going to do a big diversity statement for the office to make people feel better. You just simply say, I would be offended by that, and I think it's inappropriate. That's it. And they might be like, too bad, and they might do it anyway. Another thing you can do is you can say, I would like to be involved, and then just act really like you don't know what they're talking about and just challenge everything they say very politely. If they say all white people are racist, you can go, hey, man, that's not okay. You can't. That's offensive. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Whoa.
You could play like innocent and you can get
Well, no,
them
just
staged.
actually try and communicate with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's see what we got. Lupus Albus says there are two kinds of people: those who have been punched in the face and those who had sudden onset value arrangement. What? Rearrangement? Mr. Beard says Trump watched Tim's rant. Oh, I read that one earlier. Yeah. I'll go back to that though. He said Trump watched Tim's rant. Trump started crackdown after last Monday. I'm a conservative and excited to see to bring home our troops. What I didn't bring up last time is I was saying like Trump needs to do something. Did you know Trump did something?
Yeah, I do.
We've had a guy arrested now for the ringleader, they call him, the guy who was organizing the teardown of the Andrew Jackson statue.
Yep.
He's deploying a special unit for protecting statues on federal monuments for the 4th of July around the country.
Wow.
As well as federal protective services are being deployed.
That's dope.
So
I
he's
didn't hear that.
literally not using Insurrection Act, not using the Army. He's sending regular DHS personnel to protect statues and monuments.
Perfect.
Boss.
There you go.
No overreach.
Boss.
Let's see. Calmisto says, I am a former revolutionary national socialist. Used to live in a dark place and ridiculed people and shows like this. I have now turned to Jesus and recognized people and where they come from. Great show, you guys. Appreciate it.
That's awesome, dude.
That's
Welcome.
That's a big transformation.
We're happy to have you.
Indeed.
To go from revolutionary socialist to a follower of Jesus. And that was really interesting. A lot of people really liked the segment where I mentioned that, where it's like, I'm not particularly religious. I'm not one who cares for the Bible.
And neither was your friend, it seemed.
Exactly. So for those that are unaware, basically the gist was someone I met had a picture of Jesus, and me being an arrogant youth was like trying to mock him for it, like, you know what, Jesus? And then he was just like, I don't know, there's a story about a guy who traveled around, helping people. It's kind of cool. And he was very calm about it and very just like, whatever.
Yep.
And so I had no real argument because that's actually a cool thing. Like,
yeah. What's wrong with that?
How do you insult that? How do you challenge that? Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, oh, that actually is a cool story.
Yep.
So if that's what you take from it, that's actually a really good thing. Some people take it to a dark place. Some people are very zealous and authoritarian, and some people are very humble. I hear Chris Pratt is like a true, very good person, very nice, respectful, and he tries to live.
He seems so nice.
He does.
Yeah,
he seems
cool
like
dude.
so much fun.
I want to be his friend.
Right? I drink a beer with that guy.
Yeah. Benjamin Stevens says, I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan combat deployment. Thank you, Trump. And yes, Tim, you're right. We have no reason to still be there. Here, man.
Amen.
Glad
Hear,
to see
hear.
that you're
Thank you for your
hopefully
service.
you're back. Thank you for your service. And yeah, man, the problem I have, look, I understand there's probably strategic international reasons for international conflict and all this stuff, and I totally get it.
Yep.
But I'm sitting here listening to the left say, we want these things. We want healthcare. We want to fix the pipes in Flint. We want to do all these things. And it's like, okay, we spend money on military infrastructure here to send there, and then we spend money on people there to build things there. Right. I understand a lot of the money that goes to the military budget is spent here and circulates in our own economy. I get that. But how much money could we redirect if we brought our troops back and focused on internal infrastructure plans, using our military to actually shore up our defenses and protect the American people in other ways?
Yep.
So I'm not saying it's possible. I'm not saying it's what we absolutely have to do. I'm saying I'm tired of hearing all the left scream about, we got to fix these things. We need money for this. And I'm just like, reassess where we put our tax money. Mm-hmm. Our troops should not be in danger for a foreign country. The whole thing was predicated on 9/11, which made no sense.
Right.
We look, to me, it seems like we're just trying to surround Iran. And then, it's because John Bolton, the neocons, and the crony Democrats are like, we've positioned ourselves perfectly to go into Tehran. That's what it really feels like.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not saying I know for sure, but come on. Look at the map of our military bases.
Yeah.
There's a meme that goes around among anti-war leftists, anti-war people in general, where it's like, this is why we must retaliate against Iran. They've put their country so close to our military bases. And you see all the U.S. military bases. Exactly.
Right.
So I don't like Iran. I don't like their government. I don't like the fundamentalism. I don't like all the problems.
Right.
But I also don't know why it's our responsibility as we're not the world police. I've never been a fan of that. Yeah. And I don't like the idea that people volunteered to defend this country are being deployed to a foreign country like Afghanistan.
Yep. For
seemingly no reason for this whatever it is they're doing. I don't know, poppy fields. Mm-hmm. I guess it's to be fair that when you become president or when you're in high level intelligence, you get handed that big document and you're like, whoa, that's what's happening.
Right.
Yep.
So
all the deets.
And so for me, I'm kind of like, I understand there's probably a whole bunch of stuff we don't know about,
and everyone wants to be an expert too. They always and they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you this: there may be a good reason that we are in Afghanistan. Maybe. I don't know. And as long as I don't know, I can only operate on what I do know. And so I know there's things I don't know.
Yep.
And I know that you have to justify to me why we're there, and you haven't. And therefore, I will absolutely be on the side of bring them all home.
Yep.
Bring them all home.
Bring them home.
Bring them home. Also, I just don't like the idea that Americans are in harm's way for unknown reasons in general. Like, you got to really justify why you're risking people's lives, man. It's not okay.
Agreed.
At least for me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Tom A says, ever since September 2001, we as a country have made changes to our life in the name of safety. It tore us apart. I hope Trump can end the war and bring our troops back. It would be a cathartic moment and symbolize hope and change. I agree.
Agreed.
And
Yep.
What's shocking to me is, there's a period where we weren't in Afghanistan. And it's been 20 years now. Almost 20 years.
20 years.
What about that little period where we weren't in the Middle East? I know we had Desert Storm. Why did we go back? And why are we still there? That stuff really makes me angry.
We needed a reason.
No new wars under Trump?
Conspiracy.
That's like, oh man, for all of Trump's character issues, those are meaningless next to get our troops home and no new wars. Trump could literally cuss for 20 minutes straight, and I'd be like, here. If you're bringing our troops home and you're not going to start any new wars, you can say every cuss in the book.
So he's
you
trying to
read
through
through
it's funny.
it.
You say it too. It's like, if we brought the troops home, we could start spending a lot of that money on the country. And that's what he's trying to do. He wants to bring manufacturing back. He wants to bring the troops back. He wants to make America great. I mean, he says again, and I have issues with the again part, because I feel like we could just make it great and put a period there, and then or greater mag. That's what I'm about. Because I feel like we could just be better. We can just get better and better and better, and let's just keep getting better.
Trump is clever in a lot of the things he does with the press, but I feel like the press plays him too much.
I can see that.
It's crazy to me how many people are so insanely blind to what's really going on.
It's insane how many people are exactly that blind.
Choose to be blind.
I'm seeing it because I'm here on a stage, voicing my opinions that a lot of people I know don't agree with, and I don't want to say attacking me for it, but I'm getting a lot of flack, and people think they know everything, and they want to scream at me about it, and it's like, okay, I'll talk to you about it. But then I find out that it's just them being manipulated by the people that don't like Trump, that are losing all their capital, that have all these foreign interests and all this stuff. And
we're making bets based on the TPP.
Yep, exactly.
We're going to have the Trans-Pacific Partnership, they thought, under Hillary.
Yep.
So let's make a bunch of financial bets. And then Trump won, and they went, oh no.
I just lost all that money. Well, boo-hoo for you. Sorry.
Crony elite, rich, uber rich, with their horses,
right?
Their equestrianism. Yeah. What's up with that? Huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dookie says, been following you since 2016. I'm center/conservative who loved watching you grow since Milwaukee. Thanks for Timcast. Adam, flex while spinning the UFO.
I'm not showing off my muscles though. I don't have the right shirt, but I will flex that spin.
Flex that spin,
man.
So Milwaukee was crazy, man. Milwaukee was really funny. Not what happened in Milwaukee. That was freaky, but afterwards. So there was a guy got shot in Milwaukee and killed, I guess. And then there was a Black Lives Matter protest. This was I think 2016.
Yeah. Oh, the last time there was an election.
Yeah. Well,
It's the last time it trended.
I was streaming there, and then there was an 18-year-old kid who got shot in the neck. He wasn't part of the protests. He was, down the street in a different direction.
Okay.
He got shot in the neck, and I watched a guy carry him into a house. And I'm like, we heard the gunshots, and we were like, whoa. Then I go to I run to the front of the house, and they bring him outside, and they put him down on the stairs, and he's sitting there with his hand, like a paper towel on his neck. An APC rolls up, and a bunch of cops come out with their guns, and they're forming a circle, like all their backs to each other.
Yeah, like a shield.
Yeah, and then they walk up, they grab the kid, bring him in the middle of the circle, and they bring him to the APC and take him out. That night, people were yelling, "Get the white people, shoot the white people, F the white people." And so afterwards, I was talking to my friends, and I said, I'm leaving because, look, man, if someone just believes you to be white, that's specifically in my instance, because sometimes people don't. White people typically don't necessarily just think I'm white. It just varies. But black people typically just call me white. And so I was like, for someone who's going to be here, when they're pointing at you saying, get them, and then you're hoping and just keeping your mouth shut and hoping they don't, I'm like, I'm not going to stick around for this. It's getting too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I made a video about it. And then a bunch of conservatives shared it like crazy. And then I started getting hit up by everybody. Do you want to come and talk about it? And I got hit up by some crazy people who said some really crazy things. And I was like, okay, I don't understand what's happening. The conversations were a little wild. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I was like, okay, calm down. But yeah, so that ended up getting me, a bunch of people trusted me after that. It's interesting because I was just honest about what happened.
Yep.
I was like, some people, I got accused by the left of baiting conservatives by making the video,
My goodness.
saying it's dangerous for white people. And I was like, what should I have done?
Right.
No, for real. Like, give me some advice. Like, what do you think I should do in that situation? And they're like, just say nothing, do nothing. I'm like,
Really?
oh, okay. So all of my subscribers and followers who are like, Tim, please stream this. Where'd you go? Why aren't you streaming? I just say nothing. I just say nothing. Nope.
Not gonna work.
It's story's over. No news. No, I told them what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I filmed it. You guys watched the kid get shot in the neck. And then they were screaming, get the white people. And then a white kid gets shot in the neck. I'm not going to stick around for this.
Right.
And so I'm just letting you guys know, I'm not going to be covering this anymore. It's too dangerous.
Yep.
And of course, people on the right were like, ooh, and you wanted to jump on the story. What am I supposed to do about that? That was for me, especially too, like a wake up, like an eye opening moment. Things like that. When I announced I was going to Sweden, because, Trump said, you see what happened last night in Sweden, became a huge news story. And so then this big thing happened where Paul Joseph Watson of InfoWars was like, I challenge anybody to spend the weekend in Malmö. And I laughed because I had just been there with you, actually.
Yeah.
And we walked around and got ice cream.
Right.
And so I was
Malmö's
like,
nice. It's a nice town.
So when he said that, I was like, what? I was like, I'll do it. So then I DM'd him and I was like, I'll do it, because I already had a GoFundMe set up.
Oh,
and
right.
I was like, look, I
Okay.
set up a GoFundMe, and he was like, I was joking around, but for sure, And then I ended up getting the donation. I immediately got hit up by a bunch of people I know from Vice saying, don't do it. Don't go to Sweden.
Don't do it.
And my response was like, I'm just going to go and do like a
Why not?
verite in Sweden, like we normally do for Vice. And they're like, no, don't. I'm like, what do you mean, no, don't? Like we do, this is what we do. Like I worked for Vice.
You might disprove the narrative, Tim.
That,
You can't have that.
so what they told me was just donate the money to a nonprofit that helps refugees. And I'm like, that's illegal.
For what? No.
It's a felony. I raised money to do a trip for journalism, the same as I've always done,
Right.
like I used to at Vice. Why are you telling me not to do journalism? And they just don't respond.
Yep.
And now they just smack talk on Twitter because they all joined a cult. They all joined the cult, and that's where we're at.
I like the super chat that just came in from the Lucky Josh. It says, get them their job back. Talk is cheap. Email is almost as cheap. And he lists the Oakland EDU that they got fired from.
Yeah, very cool.
And it's
But this was-
UTS at oakland.edu. And it's like, hit them up. People keep talking. We talked about this yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? I don't remember. Earlier in the week, we were talking about how the left, part of their thing that they do is they have these email groups that they'll just send out an email. All right, we're gonna basically attack this one company for doing this one
gonna
thing, and
focus
if they
on
get
them.
enough people hitting them up, they change their tune. So, and we were saying that's like, you know what? We need the people on the other side to hit them up and be like, no, we think you're wrong for doing that.
Please give
Listen
them their
to
job
them.
back. Please stop saying
Give
this.
them their job
Let's see
back.
if it works,
They
yeah.
didn't do anything wrong.
I'm really curious.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Well, in the video, you hear
I mean,
them
we'll
say
see. We'll see.
They
We sh-
both pulled guns.
What?
But that's what they said in the video. They say it twice. Yeah. They both pulled guns.
I didn't see him pull a gun.
I didn't. He was in the driver's seat.
Right.
Maybe
got out.
maybe he did. But
Yeah, he got
I don't know
out.
for sure.
The proof is in the pudding.
But either way, that has been a big issue. But I'm seeing more conservatives talk about it.
I still think
It's not
I
just-
still think it's a good idea. You got to start doing that.
One of the problems right now too is exactly how I just framed it. Conservatives are doing it. The reality is
Yep.
the middle's gone. If you were a moderate man, if you were a regular American, you're all conservative now. Every single person. It's funny.
I guess I am.
Right. So
I
it's-
never realized I would be considered a conservative.
But you're not.
But
This
that,
is
well,
the
that's what they
problem.
say though. When you're younger, it's like sure you have that phase, but then as you get older, by the time you're 40, if you're not a conservative, you're not living.
brain.
Do you think
Yeah.
rich
No brain,
people
yeah.
should pay a progressive tax?
Well,
Like the more money you make, the more higher percentage of taxes you pay in taxes. So like someone who makes $2 million pays 40%.
I'm not going to say because I don't know the tax system as much as I should. So
Pro-life or pro-choice?
it's like we've had this conversation. It's like sure you can hit up these questions that are serious, but it's like I'm not a politician. I'm not running for an office. I'm trying to use this platform to help people. To use our opinions and discuss different things.
The point I'm making is when it comes to actual policy positions on
Right.
cultural issues,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely am a liberal.
Okay.
I would say like 80%. I did a video where I talked about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's positions
Okay.
when she first ran, and I was in favor of 60% of her platform. 60%.
Okay.
because it's things like prison reform,
Yeah.
ending private prisons, things like this.
See, like I
Police
guess I'm
reform.
down for that. I'm down for that.
Right. And so I'm like pro-choice, pro-progressive tax. These are what used to define what liberal meant.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we've not talked about it. When was the last time any of us ever brought this up?
Want to talk about policy? Well,
So-
we do.
What policy?
We were just talking about pro-life versus pro-choice the other night.
Yeah, in what capacity?
Yeah, a
Well,
little bit.
We were arguing about it. I was like, I'm pro-life, and here's why. And Adam gave me a little bit of pushback about Planned Parenthood.
I'm talking about in the
No.
culture war.
No, I didn't.
Tiny
yeah.
bit.
I-
You're like, that's not the
no.
only thing they do.
It isn't the
Which
only
is
thing
fine,
they
yeah.
do. You know, it's that's all I said.
Right,
You
but
know,
we're talking about it.
I'm talking
Right.
about Nancy Pelosi coming out and saying, you know, we need these core issues.
Okay.
So right now we just had a Supreme Court ruling where Louisiana was going to have some more restrictions on abortion access. The Supreme Court voted in favor, 5-4, I guess. Roberts flipped. There was some, you know, grumbling from conservatives, and now we've moved on to Orange Man bad again. There was issues in the Supreme Court about LGBT employment discrimination that we very briefly touched upon, and of course, my position that I came out was like, I do not believe you should be able to discriminate based on these characteristics.
Yeah.
So my position typically lands somewhere on the left. But 95 to 99% of everything that happens has literally nothing to do with cultural or policy issues outside of the left is banning free speech. They want hate speech legislation.
Yep.
And they want to abolish cops.
And they want mob justice. Actually, the
So-
Lucky Josh just hit us up again. Read that last one that he just sent.
Innocent until proven guilty, no mob justice.
Exactly. Like, how are they gonna just jump on? Like you said it. Like, well, we've got this viral video going on. We got to arrest them. But it's like, but they
Do we?
they
Do
didn't
we
have
have
all the
to?
evidence.
Yeah.
Do we have to? No, that's exactly it. No, we don't have to. They're innocent until proven guilty. That's the way this world works in America.
So you can be arrested. They'll be released on bail.
Sure.
Then they'll go to their court. The prosecutor, in my opinion, is going to drop it.
I think so too.
Like what jury is going to be like, lock them up and throw away the key? They're going to be like, wow, you were surrounded and they were screaming they were going to attack you.
Right.
And they got behind your car and started hitting it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like bad hair day. It's like people got into an argument. Everybody go home and shut up.
Yep.
Just like stop.
That's
Just
what I
stop.
think is going to happen too. Yeah.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is if we're talking about left and right wing policy from where we are today, then if you were a liberal 3 years ago, you're a hardcore conservative today. Because I was talking to Crowder about this, and I said, I'm pro-choice. And he says, do you think there should be third trimester abortion? And I said, in most circumstances, no.
Right.
In select circumstances, the health of the mother, inviolability, things like that. And he goes, we agree. And I'm like, right. And he goes, so on the Republican side, they're actually making concessions on some, allowing some women in certain circumstances. Would you agree? I'm like, sure. And he goes, the left is talking about full-term abortion.
Yeah, that's
Post-birth
That's
abortion.
crazy.
And
yeah,
when
post-birth.
you actually bring that up, they call you a liar.
That's craziness.
I was talking. There's one person that I used to be friends with. We're not friends anymore because she started going off about conversion therapy. Like, this is how insane they've gone.
Right.
But the first thing she said was, no one on the left is for full-term or post-birth abortion. And I said,
I've seen it.
Did
I've
you
seen
see
those videos about
so
it?
the
It's nuts.
post-birth abortion thing was Northam saying something stupid.
Right.
So I'll walk that one back for sure. I was like, okay, but did you see the actual language of the bill? It up until the point of birth, you could terminate the
Delivery.
baby.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And so when I showed it to her, she freaked out and she got mad. But we were still able to stay friends with that. I'm like, look, this stuff is happening. I'm not saying it's everywhere. I'm not saying it's Supreme Court, but these people are advocating for it, and I'm freaked out by it.
Right.
Michelle Wolf or whatever her name is on Netflix,
Yes, God bless
yelling, "You get an
abortions."
abortion, and everyone gets abortions."
Yeah, it's messed up.
And I'm like,
or how like some of the abortion clinics are straight up selling like infant organs. Like, this messed up. Like, these people need to be arrested. Like, this, it's
Well,
insane.
I don't know enough about that.
I've read a
That
little
was
bit.
James
I've read up
O'Keefe.
on it. Yeah.
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 She posted some stuff I read.
But
yeah.
it got really crazy when I was talking to a good friend of mine, and she said that we were talking, trans issue politics stuff came up, and then she called me transphobic because it was around the time that lesbians were being called transphobic for not wanting to sleep with males, and I brought that up, and she said that's transphobic, and I said, well, sure, but I'm not going to hold it against someone who has a preference. Like, if someone's gay and they don't want to be with a female, then, and she said, that's because they're transphobic and they haven't been taught,
Oof.
And she said that she thought if given enough, time and, she could learn to be attracted to a female. And I said, that's conversion therapy.
Yep.
And she said, no, it isn't. I said, no, it literally is conversion
That's
therapy.
exactly what it is.
That's exactly what they do. They try
Right.
and put them in a situation where they teach them so they can learn to be attracted. And then she got really angry, and cognitive dissonance set in because
Yep.
now she was simultaneously in support of and opposed to the same thing. And that was it. She deleted her Facebook account.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, really?
Deleted her account.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was because, some people are weak-willed, and I mean this I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but they are. So when they get inundated with woke insanity, they just say, okay, this is what I'm going to say from now on. This is what's true. Then when they get countered with a logical rebuttal, they can't figure out which one is correct. So they have a panic attack.
Yep. And just
They have a
leave.
mental breakdown and they just turn it off. I can't do this
step away.
anymore.
Yep.
So maybe that was the right thing to do. Get rid of Facebook because it's certainly making people go insane. I think Facebook is the worst
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Have you seen Ready Player One?
yeah.
So I love this movie. It's a great movie. But there's one thing about it at the end of the movie when they finally get control. Spoiler alert of the what is it? I forget what's the world is called. Well, anyway, they gain control of it and they turn it off on Tuesdays and Thursdays or something like that. 2 days a week. No one's allowed to play the game, to go into the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's like we have to remind people that there's reality out there. Life exists outside of this game where everyone was hooked on. And that's social media. It's like it feels like people think that that's reality, and that's not reality.
And they're arguing that it is reality now.
It's not. Exactly.
The journalists want it to be the real world.
Right. It's like the trolls are becoming reality, and it's like the antagonists in their movies is now what reality is to them, and they're like, that is not the case. Step back from and rediscover what reality is like outside of your internet bubble.
Let me ask you something. If do you think that most Americans have a positive view of the phrase Black Lives Matter?
I don't know.
Just if you had to guess.
I would guess no.
Do you think no? Even with all of the big brands and all the advertisements and McDonald's and everything, you think they don't?
Yeah.
Do you think most Americans have a positive view of the phrase all lives matter?
Probably.
And you're right on both counts.
Really?
Two polls came out. It was Economist and YouGov that found that most people have a positive view of the slogan "All Lives Matter."
Yeah.
And the highest racial demographic with a positive the racial demographic is Black Americans.
That think all lives matter.
So
Interesting.
when you ask white people, Black people, Latinos, or they put other, I guess it means Asian and mixed race.
Okay.
Other was the lowest approval. But the most positive association was among Black Americans at I think it was 56 to 58%.
Wow.
I do believe that in one of the polls, most Americans favorably view Black Lives Matter, 52%, and 56 are favorable of All Lives Matter.
Right.
But the other poll showed that there was actually a minority of Americans who favor Black Lives Matter and a majority who favor All Lives Matter.
That's kind of makes sense. That's kind of what I've been saying.
But you know why? I think it's because most Americans aren't active politically. And so when they ask you, the average person says, oh, that one? I don't know. Oh, all lives. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They just
that makes
because they believe that.
right.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Most people
Well,
believe
It's
that
a
all
couple
lives
polls.
matter.
Maybe the polls are wrong, but there's two of them. And it's interesting. Do you know which demographics are more likely to hate All Lives Matter?
White people.
No.
No, I don't know.
They're still favorable.
I'm thinking of the woke crowd, and it's
yes, it is postgraduate degrees.
Okay.
More than $100,000 a year.
Yep.
like, wow.
Yep.
And graduate degrees.
Yep.
And that's
Because it's
self-identified
because it's
leftist
cool.
or liberal.
Because they've convinced themselves that it's the
schools.
cool thing to do
Yeah.
is to be
it's
woke.
their bubble. It's Twitter.
Yep.
You go on Twitter and you'd think All Lives Matter was like the worst possible thing anyone could say ever.
Right.
And most
It's
Americans
crazy.
are like, that's cool.
I know, right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it would think that. It's
I bet
like,
if you walked up to a
that's-
random person on the street and say, how do you feel about All Lives Matter? They'd be like, they do.
Of course.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Lives Matter was actually very low.
Okay.
I think it was 36% approval in one of the polls, and I think it's because no one knows what it means.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
They're like,
Smurfs
what's
Like
or-
aliens
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
what? Did we
Yeah.
discover some blue creature?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see if we got any more super chats. But I've got some bad news. It is
Oh.
10:03.
No.
Yep.
So let's see what we got here. We got Frank. Thanks for the super chat. Jake Jones says, tear down Planned Parenthood and rebuild with a moral framework. He who shall not be named says, Tim, teach us to blue screen the SJW cult flowers. Tim talks. Oh, man. I actually when I worked in these nonprofits, why I did so well fundraising was because I grew up with a bunch of hacker friends, and I knew I grew up with an understanding of social engineering, which is basically manipulating people. So when you're working for a nonprofit, you're trying to figure out how to convince someone to give money. You know what? Let me tell you something. I worked for Greenpeace. I worked for a company that was fundraising on behalf of the ACL. You got to be very careful. And I worked for a couple different fundraising outlets that worked for a bunch of different major international nonprofits. You know how easy it is to get someone to believe in something?
Seems pretty easy.
You know what I had to do working for these companies?
What?
On the spot, in about a minute, convince them to give me their credit card. Could you imagine how difficult it is? You walk up to a random stranger on the street, and within 1 minute, you've handed your credit card to them.
Wow.
That's impressive.
And people, these people do it every day, all the time. So they know exactly what to say and how to say it. And a lot of these people are zealous leftists, and they probably take that with them and then use that for activist organizing. That's part of why they do the job they do, to learn how to be persuasive.
Interesting.
It's so easy to convince someone to believe in something, to inspire them, to get them to even feel passion
To
on the
get
spot.
them to smash the like button.
And this is what I would tell people. I'd say,
And give me money to spin the UFO.
it's one of the reasons I hated this job, was that it was just, the whole job was manipulative.
Yeah.
They weren't convincing you to actually fight for a cause. They were convincing you and that you were going to convince other people. And eventually I realized these companies were lying. And that was the final straw for me, when I thought they were doing the right thing, fighting for the environment, fighting for civil rights. And then when I got a real taste of the hypocrisy, I just stopped.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do this ever again.
Yeah.
Don't want to be involved. But anyway, with that being said, make sure you
Smash the like button.
Sure.
Yep. That's
Smash the notification bell.
I'm tired.
Smash the subscribe button. You can follow me at Timcast on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow at Adam Krigler on Twitter and Instagram as well. And of course, you can follow at Sour Patch Lids.
Yes.
LYDS.
Yep.
We do the show every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and we'll be back tomorrow. Fridays are usually the biggest shows.
Friday Night Jam.
We have so much
Yes.
fun.
We missed last week, so
Because I lost my voice. So
Yeah.
I'll play tomorrow, but I'm
One
gonna
song.
One song, and I'm not going to scream at the top of my lungs like I normally do.
Good call.
I can cover 2 of your songs.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
That'll
let's
be
do
fun.
it. Oh,
I'm excited about that.
we laid down one of the tracks for the song. It's called "Will of the People," and we've got an animation
good
studio.
Oh man.
This is going to be an amazing video. So
I'm so excited.
It's very cool.
stick around,
Very
and
exciting
we
stuff.
will we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.